This episode of the SuperHypeGaming podcast features new modes, including Virgil mode. Thank you for listening. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 15 of the SuperHypeGaming podcast. I am your host, Michael Flanagan, and today I am joined by my two brand new co-hosts. First, we have number one anime waifu, Mr. AJ Kennedy.
Oh my god. Is it?
And joining him is the decadent dandy himself, Mr. Luke Ellis.
Thank you, the decadent dandy. I think most people call me Lukey Poo, but I do appreciate the introduction. It's great to be here with my homies AJ and Michael.
I prefer your official title.
Decadent dandy's pretty good.
Yes. How are you guys doing today? How are you? I'm excited to have everyone that listens to the podcast on the podcast today. It's great.
Wow. Hey, I'm doing great. I can't wait to have more podcasts to listen to, so this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, you know what? I was kind of okay with not having the podcast, not having to listen to it every week, but I guess I'm going to have to slot out an extra couple hours a week to listen to this thing.
Cool. Excellent. Feels good to be back. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Video games happened the past week and a half. They happened. But first, let's just kind of chit-chat. Let's talk about ourselves. What have you guys been up to? What have you guys been playing? What have you guys been watching? AJ, we'll start with you. What have you been up to?
Oh my god, there's this gun called the Mountaintop in Destiny 2, right?
Oh, God.
I've been sweating my fucking heart out trying to get it. I've been trying so hard, so many grenade launcher kills, so much heavy camped. I'm almost there. Thank God for
how do you get this gun?
You have to get like 300 grenade launcher kills. Then you have to get like 75 double kills. And then you got to get like 50-ish something like calculated trajectory medals, which are get 3 grenade launcher kills in one life. And for me, someone who's terrible, it's not easy.
Yeah. In short, a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. Also, you gotta reach like fabled rank in the competitive mode of PvP and Destiny.
No way. So you've been grinding PvP for this as well as the objective.
Oh, it's all PvP. There's just different match types. And like, oh boy, I'm going crazy. I'm actually going crazy. And, you know, on some level, you might be like, maybe you've at least improved a little since you started doing this. No. No, not at all.
It's all about the grind, baby.
Destiny be like that. I like what you said the other day where you said, you know, every time Destiny makes you do something, it's like, I don't want to do that.
It's consistently true. It really, really is. It's crazy. I like Gambit. Anytime I have a quest that's like, go play Gambit. Oh. It's weird. That's super weird, but yeah. Other than that, I've been, I get Animal Crossing. I've been playing Animal Crossing, working on the island. I made a flag yesterday. You know?
What's your flag?
It's as close as I, with my limited skills as an artist, could make of the Skelly Squad sign.
Nice. That's great.
To come visit the island. It's pretty cool.
How many ugly villagers do you have so far?
First off, don't be mean to my villagers. All right, they're all beautiful in their own way. All right.
Okay, but there are some ugly ones.
There are some of whom some may consider ugly.
Mm-hmm. So how many of those are on your island?
None, sir.
Okay.
Not because I kicked people off like some people I know. That's mean. I just don't have a lot of villagers yet. I'm working. I have 2 frogs though. For some reason, I'm like, oh, that's dope. Frog Island.
One of those frogs has got to go.
There can only be one.
One of them's got to go. One of them's got to move.
Fight to the death, Highlander.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's fucked up.
Whoever gives you a better birthday gift.
Okay, but one of them
like
had a frog shirt on.
I don't know. That's a pretty good argument. That frog might be good.
It's kind of a
That might be a keeper.
Yeah, that might be a keeper for sure.
You know?
Barry, I saw or AJ on Twitter, I saw that you had a picture of you in Animal Crossing standing over a dead bird. What do you have to say for yourself?
Did you murder a bird in Animal Crossing?
I may have murdered a bird in Animal Crossing. Hey, he was just sleeping, actually. I didn't do anything. I'm not going to incriminate myself. You know, I found him there. And this other bird on my island was like, bro, you should go talk to him. And now I got to
Is that fucking sailor fuck?
There's Gulliver, something like that.
Gulliver, yeah.
I got to find pieces of his phone now because he lost them. Or he won't leave my island.
You gotta kick him like 7 times just to get him to wake up.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Like I was kind of shook because I thought I would have fucked up the shot when I was trying to take the picture, because I kept accidentally talking to him, and I'm like, oh damn, he's gonna wake up eventually.
So how do you feel about having a lifetime of debt to Tom Nook now?
You know, as someone who played New Leaf, it just feels right. It just feels right, you know.
It's comforting.
If my soul doesn't belong to someone, then who does it really belong to? You know? Also, I can get a extra 1 foot of square feet in my house.
Yep.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I can
One extra room.
Man, bro, 1 extra room, you can put some stuff in there. Okay, so, I'm not gonna lie. I had a goal for my Animal Crossing island.
Please tell.
I want to try to recreate the room from Saw 1.
That is incredible. That is amazing. Yes, this has got to happen.
Yeah, that's a pretty good room. It's a pretty good room. There's elements of that room that are recognizable.
I want it.
You gotta find a saw though. You gotta find a saw and put it in there.
Oh, dude, I could put that tricycle. I have the tricycle.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Get it in there.
Good. That's really
You can
good.
you can do a lot with the custom designs too. You can get some gross rusty tiles. You can get some nice blood stains.
Mm-hmm.
You can go pretty far with that gimmick.
Hey, big facts, honestly. Like, and I'm trying to make it work. We'll see. Right now, I'm still in the one house, and you know, people keep coming over. They want to give me stuff, and I'm like, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Give me offerings.
Yeah, I gave you some stuff.
It's true. I need a pirate hat now because I got some boots on. You know, I really like the pirate coat. I took off the skelly for the pirate.
I'm glad.
Now that's saying something.
I'm glad.
I like it a lot. But the skelly, I have the skelly costume and the helmet hanging up on a wall just in case. Should I ever want to go back to my old days, you know?
You should probably wash it, you know, at least once.
Nah.
Put it through the wash.
Bro.
Well, cool.
I'm
I'm glad that you have a Switch now. I'm glad that we can play games together on the Switch. It's been good.
Oh yeah, of course we've been playing Monster Hunter too. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have been playing some Monster Hunter, which we can talk about a little bit because, surprise, there's some Monster Hunter news. So we can get there. Yeah, it's been good. Luke, what have you been up to?
Man, in terms of gaming, I feel like I've kind of been all over the place lately. Kind of 4 titles go to my mind right off the bat. One is I recently picked up a Pokemon game. So I mean, you guys both know how into Pokemon I am.
I'm shook.
But I actually missed out on one of the games when I was coming up, and that was in Generation 5. There was a game called Pokemon Black and White 2, and it was the first time they had done like a proper sequel to any of the games. Usually it was like they had 2 games and then they had a third one that was kind of the same thing. So I picked that up recently, and I just beat Black and White to kind of get a feel for what the story is, and I'm excited to jump into that. But that's kind of old school. Kind of looking at some of the stuff that's been announced that's kind of been getting me excited. One is Crash Bandicoot. So, this is a proper sequel to the first 3 games. First Crash Bandicoot game in the past 12 years. That is a new Crash game. That's coming out October 2nd. I'm really excited about that. And
oh wow, that's really soon.
I know. It's really, really soon. In fact, if you did pre-order it on the PS4, you can actually play 3 of the levels now already.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I haven't pre-ordered it yet because I am going for the physical copy, which is fine. I can wait. I'll be patient. But to kind of tide me over, because I'm not actually patient, I sat down on one Saturday and 100%ed all of Crash Bandicoot 3 in a single sitting, in like 7.5 hours. So that was a thing. And then of course we've gotten Mario 3D All Stars, and we'll probably talk about that, but been playing that a little bit as well, and that's been a lot of fun. And there's one more, and that is Crystal Chronicles. You guys know,
haven't been playing as much as that recently. We played a little bit.
Yes, and I want to play more, but I like to play with people. So you guys know that that's a game I've been looking forward to for years, and I've really had a lot of fun with it. But schedule's been a little crazy lately, so I haven't gotten that multiplayer feel that I like when I play it.
We gotta get back in there, because I'm the same way, where I'm like, I enjoy playing this game with you. I'm literally never going to touch this game by myself.
I mean, I'm the same way. I probably won't play a whole lot by myself either, but I definitely want to at least beat it so we can do some of the post-game content, because there's a lot of content there, and we've made it through, like, none of it. So, but yeah, that's kind of the video game aspect. I talked to you before we started about a little story related to the dinner I had tonight. So if you
hit
guys,
me with your dinner story.
You guys want to buckle up, Habar? You want to hear about some dinner time stuff?
Is it gross dinner time stuff, or is it like...
No. It's just a little anecdote.
It's not like past. I shat my taco and
no.
ate that for dinner today because I'm poor and I don't have any money.
Well, it is about not having money. So today I was, I got off work and I went to the kitchen and I was looking in the fridge. I was like, all right, what am I going to make for dinner? And I just made soup the other night, and it was really good. It came out really, really good. And I was like, man, I could really go for some more soup tonight. But we didn't have like all the ingredients. So I opened the fridge, I open up the cheese and meat drawer, and I see hot dogs. I'm like, oh yeah, we've got some hot dogs in there. And it took me back to 2015, the summer of 2015. And I was like, okay, we're gonna have a nice nostalgic dinner tonight. So I threw a couple hot dogs in some water, and
you're one of those people that boils them.
Not usually. Usually I don't. But this was specifically for this recipe. This was a very special night.
I gotta say, I don't think there's any recipe that calls for boiled hot dogs. I'm just gonna put that out there.
You know what?
Bullshit.
No. I think you're wrong.
I think your recipe is wrong.
Okay.
I think your recipe is wrong.
When you hear this recipe, you're gonna think it's wrong for sure.
What kind of hot dogs are we talking about? Like what brand? Like beef? Or are they pork?
I don't even know.
What's going on with these hot dogs? Some Scary's hot dogs in your fridge. You don't know where they came from.
Nope,
you don't know what they're made out of.
Hey, look, I feel like that's how hot dogs are. They just appear in your fridge. They're there for like 8 months.
No, that's not how hot dogs are.
They just show up and they're there for 8 months, and then you eat them and you get sick. That's what hot dogs are, right?
I disagree.
But anyway, so I saw these hot dogs, and I got a pot of water and some hot sauce, some lemon pepper, some butter, and a piece of cheese. And I boil that all up together, and I get this aroma. I'm just like, man, it really takes me back.
And cheese? What?
Oh, and cheese. Yeah, a little bit of everything. So back, let me take you back 5 years ago to the summer of 2015. I had recently... I had a friend who had an extra room in his apartment and offered it to me rent free, and I was like, "Wow, that's awesome." And at the time, I didn't have a lot of money, and when I say I didn't have a lot of money, I mean like I couldn't afford to buy stuff.
Right.
So like the first week,
usually what you do with money.
Yeah, exactly. But like the basics were really a struggle. So So the first 2 weeks I was there, it was like a mad dash to try to find work and try to get money and stuff. And for like the first month until I got paid, I had some interesting eating practices to get by. And one of those was hot dog water soup. And that's kind of where this recipe comes from that time of necessity. And
is this Limp Bizkit's fucking recipe?
No idea. Maybe he copied me. I don't know. But so the way this worked, I would cook a single hot dog. I would cook a single hot dog in some water, and I noticed, after cooking a hot dog, I noticed that like the hot dog water kind of tasted good. It was like smoky, kind of like.
Can't.
I mean, it
I
was.
regret.
What
I
made
regret.
you want to taste the hot dog water?
I regret
Okay, well,
inviting
okay.
you to be a co-host on my podcast.
Listen.
Already,
back-
14. Listen, we're 14 minutes in, and I already don't want to hear it.
Hey, this is what you get now.
I don't want to hear about how you drink your hot dog water.
Well, listen. Okay, at the time though, you have to remember, like there were weeks where I only ate a couple times in a week, right? So like.
So you did this as like a meal, like the hot dog water was like a meal.
Well, let me continue. I started off with the hot dog water, but it got more advanced, right? So I had a few.
But I mean, were you like? Yes, I've enjoyed my hot dog water. I am now content for the night. I can go to bed with a full tummy.
Yeah, basically, yes. But I got it more advanced so that it was more enjoyable, right? So I had a few things in the fridge. Like I had lemon pepper, and I had salt and pepper, and that was like all the spices I had. And then I had hot sauce, because I am a person who pretty much puts hot sauce on everything. I just love it. I like spice.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. You know what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah.
so I would take the hot dog water, without the hot dog. There was no hot dog. It was just hot dog water. I would put the hot sauce and the lemon pepper, and that was it. And then once I got paid a little bit, I had enough for butter, and I maybe put like a little pat of butter in there, and I'd boil it up. And man, I'd have the hot dog the first night. The next night I would drink this hot dog water, and it was like the most filling, hearty thing ever. It was so nice to just have my hot dog water soup. And in remembrance of that, I made a little bit of hot dog water soup tonight, but to make it extra fancy, I actually kept one of the hot dogs inside the soup.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is
I'm upset. I am already upset. This makes me upset.
So that's my hot dog water soup story.
How
many people have you told this story?
Not a whole lot. I mean,
Good.
You told me this before. It's a banger every time. And,
look. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to get by, you know?
Listen, I mean, you could have just drank regular water, and you would have been just as full.
But it wouldn't have been as enjoyable. Okay?
It didn't have
was
that
an
full
experience.
body flavor, Michael. You don't understand.
Yeah.
Of the one hot dog, a little bit of sodium in there. So hot dogs are really packed with sodium. He's able to spread that flavor out in that water a little bit, depending on how much water you put in there.
So I mean, like, how much water are we talking, right?
That's
talking
the thing
like
that matters right there?
are we talking like a glass full of water? Like, would you drink the whole I assume you made it in like a pot.
Yep.
On like the stove. So would you like fill the pot with water?
No, it would just be like, yeah, it's just enough to cook the hot dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like a glass full.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about that.
And you would how would you drink it? Like, would you just slurp from the pot, or would you pour it in something?
I put it like in a bowl or Tupperware or something.
You put it in a bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your water that just tastes like somewhat hot dog flavor.
Hey man, I had to do mental gymnastics to like accept it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a nice bowl of soup tonight, and it tastes like hot sauce.
Hey, bro, you can make soup from a lot of stuff,
Exactly.
Your mind must have been blown when you discovered like Alka-Seltzer.
After this, my mind just goes to like Blue in the kitchen today, and he has like only Blue in this entire world, like fucking hot dog bouillon cubes, and he's just yeah, hot dog stop, and he's just hooking it up in there, It's hot dog.
Did you ever try boiling other things and getting like soup from that? What else did you try?
Yeah, so I ended up doing a lot of things. So I continued the trend, but eventually I stopped using hot dog water and I just started making soup. So like if I made some like chicken breast and like I ate like half the chicken breast, the other half I would cut up and then make the exact same broth just without the hot dog, right? So I'd have the hot sauce, the lemon pepper, the chicken, maybe a little bit of butter, maybe some like Parmesan. And,
but then I want to be clear, like you didn't eat the chicken with it; you just ate the water.
No. Eventually, once I could afford like meat and stuff, I would put a little bit of meat in the soup, and it would be more like a proper broth. but it's still a weird soup, right?
I mean, there's meatless soups, right, Michael?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, but like, Blue, I wanna cook for you one
This
day.
is for
I want to cook for you and just like that is my desire right now. Is I just want to cook for you and be like, look, you can make so many nice things with food.
No, but to preface it, he did say
make so
it
many
was
nice
for
dishes.
because no money.
Exactly.
I know.
Like,
but I want to treat
then,
you.
Since
treat
then,
you.
I've gained a solid 140 pounds and had a lot of nice meals that I've made myself. Very, very different time. Very different.
You're like, now I know how to make hamburgers.
Yeah, I do want to point out though that despite his no money for food, it never stopped his crack addiction once from becoming.
That is tragic.
Why do you think I had no money?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And, you can't eat crack, but
Yeah. Hey,
But
shout out to
crack can
crack.
eat you.
Hey, shout out to crack.
Shout out to crack. Okay, I think it's time to move on from the hot dog flavored water.
Hey, shout out to that tweet that was like, shout out to the war on drugs for winning the war on drugs.
Okay, so I've been doing some stuff too. I've been mostly playing Mario 3D All Stars as well, doing a little bit of Monster Hunter, but man, this collection is crazy because it's so overpriced, but I don't know, these games are fun. And so 64 and Sunshine. So 64 is one of those games where I played it at somebody's house, and most of my memories of this game is just vague, hazy memories. A lot of it's vaguely familiar when I'm replaying it, but I don't actually remember playing the game. Sunshine I've played myself, and then Galaxy I've never touched before. And Galaxy is a treat. Let me tell you about Super Mario Galaxy. This game is a 10. This game is so good. This game looks great, sounds great, great soundtrack. I love all the weird gimmicks that they introduce. Really, really good. And then Mario 64 is weird. Mario 64 is Mario 64 I feel is one of those games where you really have to put your historian cap on while you're playing it, and you have to just be you have to appreciate the time that this game came out in, because otherwise it's just I don't know, just play a better Mario game, because there's a ton of them.
Well, it feels old, right?
It does.
Yeah.
And it feels, not only does it feel old, but it feels like you could play this game but better. Just play Odyssey. Odyssey is just Mario 64 but better, really.
Well, yeah, I mean, have you gotten around to playing Sunshine yet?
You know how hard it is?
I have not on the collection, no. I have not gone back to it yet.
Habari, have you watched any of the gameplay of these games? Have you been following any of it?
Yeah, I mean, other than 64, I never really played any of those other ones, and I don't know. Again, you kind of you with the food, but because money, so
Yeah.
just never had them, never played them. Which unfortunately, when it comes to me in old video games, it leads to me actually just having no interest in playing them. It builds no oh man, I wish I could play. I'm just didn't play it, don't care no more. So a lot of Legend of Zelda, a lot of Nintendo shit, I just legit be I have no interest in it. I'm sure I'd probably like it if I tried it, but I don't feel like going out of my way to do it normally, unfortunately. And
I like having that kind of historian view where I'm I like to know. I feel about Mario 64 kind of the same way I feel about the original Super Mario Bros., where it's these games are not really good by today's standards, and you can play better versions of them, but from a historical standpoint, it's these games are fascinating. It's cool to see where these things started, and yeah, they just hold Super Mario 1 is an ugly game in my opinion. But it's iconic, it's super iconic, and the way that game looks is iconic. You could play Super Mario 3 and get a way better looking game. But yeah, the significance of Super Mario 1 and the significance of Mario 64, where it's just doing these things in 3D for the first time and seeing how they translate things, it's very fascinating.
And I mean, from a development perspective, there are a lot of great videos that kind of detail a lot of the ingenious things that the developers had to do to make it work the way that it works. And it's just really cool to go back and look at like the struggles that they had to go through and the kind of problems they had to solve compared to today, where like, you know, today you might have a whole team of developers working on a shader, right? Whereas back then it was like, how do we even make this game run, right? Like a whole lot of different problems just for a different era, you know? It's very fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Fuck that monkey, though. That's all I want to say. Is fuck that monkey.
No, I agree.
Okay. I think we're ready to move into the podcast proper, but before we do so, I want to introduce a game that we play on the podcast. And this game is called SAT Prep. And the rules of SAT Prep are this. I will give you both one vocabulary word. During the course of this podcast, one of you must use this word in a sentence. If you use the word correctly, then you'll both get points. If you forget to use the word by the end of the podcast, if you use the word incorrectly, or if you use the word and it's like super forced, then you will lose. And I will make one of you end the podcast by reading a random video game quote that I pull from randomvgquotes.com. They are completely random. Are you guys ready for your SAT prep word of the day?
Oh,
yes.
You know it.
Your word is adversarial. Adversarial. One of you must use the word adversarial during the course of this podcast. And with that, we can move into the podcast proper, and I'm going to introduce another element so that we have a lot of news here. A lot of video game news happened.
We got news today that
and
happened.
yeah, there was news today, just today that happened. So we're gonna play another little podcast game. This game is called Yoink or Boink. Now the rules of Yoink or Boink are this: Yoink being the sound that it makes when you grab something, when you pull it towards yourself. Boink being the sound that something makes when you toss it away and it bounces off the table or whatever. So as we go through the news today, after each game announcement or game trailer, whatever it may be, I'm going to ask each of you, Yoink or Boink. And if you feel like this is a game that you want, that you need to grab and pull towards yourself, you will say Yoink. And if you feel it's a game that you're not really feeling, you feel like you can kind of throw it away, you will say Boink. Is that clear?
Those words are making.
Are we clear on the rules of Yoink or Boink?
Crystal clear.
Excellent. So we're going to start with the PlayStation 5 showcase, which took place... What day was this on? This showcase took place on September 16th. And there was a bunch of shit here announced. So our first game here is Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 was announced. We got a nice little trailer. This game is being developed by, I believe it's mostly being developed by a Realm Reborn crew. So like Yoshi P is a producer on this title. And a lot of these like character models and stuff look like Final Fantasy 14 characters, but like, you know, a little nicer. We also have, so recently Square Enix hired someone, they kind of poached someone from Capcom, and they poached a man named Ryota Suzuki. And this was the battle director for Devil May Cry 5 and Dragon's Dogma, which are both excellent combat games.
Mm-hmm.
And so this Final Fantasy 16 appears to be a character action game. I saw some people say it looks similar to like 15, but I think it looks completely different to 15. I think Final Fantasy 15 and even Final Fantasy 7 Remake were just completely different action games. This looks like hardcore character action. There was some Devil May Cry stuff in here. I saw some fucking Phoenix Busters. It looks sick. It looks really, really cool.
Stinger, some million stabs at all.
No, but there's some cool stuff. There's some cool dodges and stuff. There's a big Marlboro. There's some combos in there for sure. Yeah, how do you guys feel about Final Fantasy 16?
So I just pulled up the trailer. I just watched it real quick while you were describing it. Since I'm not a PS5 guru, and I don't even know if I'll pick it up. If I do, it'll be pretty late in the cycle. But I will say, you know, as someone who didn't play 14, I did play a lot of World of Warcraft, and I follow MMOs. So I do like to read up on stuff about MMOs like Final Fantasy 14. And I have to say I've heard nothing but praise about that game, and especially the storytelling aspects and the way that they've really weaved together a coherent and powerful story. The trailer looks very cool. The last Final Fantasy I played properly was 10, which was a turn-based game, and this looks incredible. Like, it looks nothing like the Final Fantasy that I'm familiar with. But if you've got
definitely goes back to like a hardcore medieval setting, which is interesting.
Yeah, which personally, I'm as a D&D nerd, I love like high fantasy, so that's very interesting to me. And
aesthetically, to me, this is like Final Fantasy 1 or Final Fantasy 2. It's like it's that hardcore, like old school medieval kind of fantasy RPG setting.
On everybody.
Yeah,
so everybody
there is.
Gave me 15 flashbacks.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't play 15, but I watched some stuff after you've talked about it before, AJ. And I kind of see what you're talking about there. But I think with the team from 14 and the setting that they have, I definitely think it's going to be an exciting entry for those Final Fantasy fans.
Would you be more excited if it were turn-based?
No, not at all. I think
okay.
I think I like turn-based games, don't get me wrong, but this looks so interesting. The combat looks really I don't know, it looks like it's a very full experience the way it is. And I'm totally all for innovation and switching things up. So in fact, I think I'm more interested. I don't know if this is a game that would make me pick up a PS5, but say one of my friends picked it up and I had the opportunity to go over and play it, I would jump on the chance for sure.
Listen, once COVID ends, you can come over and play Final Fantasy 16 all you want,
and I'll make some hot dog soup for you.
You can skip the hot dog soup. Listen, you can come over and play Final Fantasy 16, but you have to promise that you won't make hot dog soup.
Gonna get you a cup of water. It's gonna be hot dog soup.
Yes.
Hey, Michael, I got you some water. How do you feel about this? I know you've been playing this game a lot. Hydrate yourself.
Surprise.
AJ, how do you feel about this?
At first reaction, I was very jaded after playing 15. And was like, immediately, fuck this game, right? But, to be fair, right? Different team. So, with that in mind, I don't know, I'm not even going to say optimistic per se, but I am definitely, like, more receptive to it. And hearing that it has, like, the combat lead from, Dragon's Dogma and whatnot is definitely a plus for me. I didn't hate the combat in 15 by any means, admittedly, but, like, this speaks to me more.
It was definitely weak. It was definitely more hands-off, because you were mostly, holding a button to attack, doing some dodging and stuff like that. Throwing some fucking magic bombs or whatever. Yeah, like 15's combat was not very, like, it didn't require your attention, I feel like. Whereas if this is truly character action, and if it's similar at all to like Devil May Cry, like, this will require you to pay attention and think about your combos and stuff like that, which I think is good. It'll be more engaging that way.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to be full character action. I mean, not even Dragon's Dogma is full character action. And I say that
it's
because
close,
it's
though.
like, I mean, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. That depends on how you play that game.
True.
But, you're not wrong per se either. But again, that being said, knowing that's how the combat is going to be, even if, like, it's just similar to those, even if it's that, Devil May Cry light, that's going to be pretty cool, And I'm into that. I mean, me, tell me on a good story. Tell me a good story, And, like, you got me. 15 story was fucking atrocious and all over the place. And I get no joy from the sentiment of, oh no, when all the DLC came out, it became a better game. I don't care.
Like, I don't know. That DLC was pretty weak, in my opinion. Anyways,
like, I hear that so often from people. When you buy the complete edition, it's a better game. Gee, I bet it is after you buy all the DLC that add more context to the game that had no context. Okay.
Yeah. I am surprised that this game isn't being built by... So after 15, you know, Square Enix created a brand new studio called... I think it's called the Luminous Studio, who is supposed to be focusing on games using the Luminous engine, which they made specifically for 15. I think that engine has some problems because they were using it for Kingdom Hearts 3 and then they switched over to Unreal. But the director who took over for 15 is the head of that studio.
Which one?
So the director who took over... Well, the director who took over from Nomura after Nomura left the project. And people were speculating that this team was going to be developing Final Fantasy 16. So it's surprising to see this game and not have it be from them. Yeah, I think promising. I think Final Fantasy 16 looks promising. I think it's going to be, you know, a little ways out. I think this game is likely at this point to come out like 2022. So we got some time, I think, before we'll see this. But so AJ, yoink or boink? Final Fantasy 16.
Final thoughts on it. Right now, I'll admittedly say it's a yoink. But that being said, with an asterisk, because I'm not exactly super hyped for this game. Well, now, but I'm not adverse to it either. Shit, I guess, you know, I said I wasn't, but I guess in some ways I am optimistic for it. I hope it's good. I hope every game's good. And, you know, I like Final Fantasy, so if I could get a good Final Fantasy with dope-ass combat, that'll be pretty nifty. It's yoink for me.
Cool. Luke, yoink or boink?
Yeah, you know what? It's a half yoink, so, like, I'm not full yoink, but...
Listen, there's no half yoinks.
Well,
You're either full yoink or full boink.
I'm like quarter. I'm like
dirty.
quarter yoink.
No. There's no quarter yoinks.
Are you gonna?
You can't listen. You can't divvy up your yoinks.
Can
it's
you
not
convince me to get full yoink right now? Yeah, I didn't think so.
I mean, no, I don't think so.
Okay, so
well, then you're boink.
Well, let me justify.
If you're not full yoink, then you're boink.
No, okay, then I'm yoink because. But the only thing is, this isn't a game that's gonna make me buy a PS5. That's all I'm saying.
It's not a
It's a
system
game-
seller.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying it has to.
Okay. Yeah,
But
listen,
in the vein
playing-
of, would you play it though?
Oh, 100%.
Listen.
Yeah, total
Yeah.
yoink. Total yoink.
Actually playing the game is not required for the game to be a yoink.
Perfect. Yeah, full yoink for sure.
Cool. 2 yoinks, dude. Interesting. Okay. Moving right along, we've got game number 2, which is Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now, this game is coming out at launch. It will be $40. So it is. I think it is going to be not quite a full game.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like a
It's a standalone
infamous
thing.
First Light. Yeah, it's a standalone thing. It'll be a little shorter. Probably won't have as many like side missions and stuff like that. Yeah, interesting. I'm looking forward to this game because Spider-Man PS4 was really fucking good. I will say I hope they improve Miles' character from that game. It's hard because like Miles in Spider-Verse is like a 10, right? But that's not like every version of Miles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I kind of just want that version of Miles. But I think having this game where we kind of focus on him could definitely, you know, help make him a little more appealing. And I think it'll give him some room to do some cool shit. I think it's cool to have another Spider-Man game this quickly. I think the game obviously looks great. So yeah, I'm hella excited for this. I think like Peter or Miles' costume is great, right? So I really don't like the white Spider-Man costume that was the default for the first game. I changed it to the classic,
I never
just
saw it.
red and blue, whatever. Whereas this is this default is really good. His default costume is a 10. So how do you guys feel about this?
I'm always happy for more Miles. I never played that video game, the 2018 Spider-Man.
You should.
You know,
Listen, I know you don't like plugging in your PS4 because it sounds loud or some shit.
it's so loud.
I know you complain about it, but you can play this game on PS Now. And you don't even have to buy PS Now. You can get like a free 7-day trial and just play this game. There's literally no excuse for you not to play this game.
Whole game in 7 days.
Yeah, easily.
And,
I you know life games all the time.
It's so true. So, I'll say this. From what I saw of Norbert playing, shout out to Casual Nope, it was pretty cool, right? The game overall is pretty cool, so I'm sure whatever Miles was doing was also pretty cool. The trailer for that is very cool as well. Very colorful.
Yeah, so we've got the Tinkerer, who seems to be the main villain here. And the Tinkerer and all her little henchmen are very neon cyberpunk kind of vibes. Yeah. They've got the leather jackets, and they've got the neon kind of metal bits and LEDs and stuff on them. So yeah, definitely very colorful. They're like, hey, look at this 8K HDR game,
right?
That we're giving you.
And I'm into as a launch title. I think this generation is Sony's strongest year of launch titles. I mean, we have this and Demon Souls. Fucking Demon Souls. Right? Honestly, for me, even if it was only Demon Souls.
Which is fascinating, too, because it's the launch games are a standalone kind of DLC and a remake, but I think they presented really well, and I think they're both really exciting projects, so it almost doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm. There's that to think about. I wonder, right, with this being a standalone thing, which I think is missed upon some people who think it's going to be a full game. Do you think that this was something that started as a normal size DLC, but then just got bigger and bigger?
No, because they did the DLCs for Spider-Man, and it's hard to say. So Spider-Man came out, and then I think it was almost a year after that came out was when Sony acquired Insomniac. And I'm sure there were talks, beforehand of hey, could you have something ready for PS5 launch? So I don't think this was planned as a DLC. I think it was I imagine after Spider-Man PS4 came out, Sony was pretty quickly can you do something for the launch? And maybe Insomniac was hey, we don't have enough time to make a full game.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have enough time to get Spider-Man 2 ready, but we can do this. We can take this opportunity to make something a little smaller. Focus on Miles, give him some good character development. So yeah, I don't think it started as DLC. I wouldn't imagine so.
I think it's gonna be pretty cool overall for what we've seen. I mean, the first Spider-Man game was already really dope, so all they gotta do is improve upon it. This game, as a sequel, has all the quote-unquote sequel, has all the chances in the world to just be incredibly cool.
So, Habar, you said something that so I haven't been following this a ton. Is this a full game, or is this a large DLC for the game that came out in 2018?
It's a standalone kind of thing. It's not a full game, and it's not even launching at full price. It's going to be $40 at launch. So when we say DLC, it's more Sony. A lot of Sony first party developers. I think the best example of what this game will be similar to is Uncharted Lost Legacy, which was another $40 game, which was not quite a full-length Uncharted game, but it was a full-length Uncharted game is maybe 20 hours, whereas Lost Legacy was 10. So somewhere in between there, where it's there's still a lot of production value going into this, and it's not just here's a DLC, but it's still not here's a full game. There won't be a billion side missions. There won't be as many costumes and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I will say, I once again I didn't play it, but I got to watch a couple friends, including Megan, my roommate, play it, and have to say it was a beautiful game to watch. Definitely felt like the kind of game that I could have gotten lost in as a 7-year-old, just being a tower swinging superhero montage simulator. I could have watched Megan swing from building to building for 10 hours straight.
Yeah,
really
fun.
Beautiful game. Yeah, for sure.
And like probably one of my top like characterizations of like Peter Parker and some of his supporting cast, like really really good. They nail some of the aspects that I like from Spider-Man. Like Peter's life kind of being shit. there's a lot of really good like Peter's life is shit, dude, moments in the game. Like he loses his flash drive and he has to call. He's like swinging around as Spider-Man, and he calls like like one of the trash companies, and he's like, "Hey, you guys like picked up some shit from my apartment, like, because he got evicted." He's like, "I really need a flash drive," and he's calling around, and this trash guy is just like, "Yeah, man, why don't you check the trash can behind this like pizza shop?" And he's like, "All right, let me swing over there." It's like it's really fun. Like that's a whole mission is you're just like swinging around looking for your flash drive because it got thrown away when you got evicted.
Yeah, that's nice. It's more like, I don't know. It gives him more like human connection, right? It's like especially more as an adult. You know, like maybe a kid doesn't fully understand that, but like as adults, we can look at those situations and be like, "Oh man, I've been there, dude. This sucks." Mm-hmm. Which is it's nice. You can connect to it better.
Yeah, it's really good. And again, one of my favorite aspects of Spider-Man, which we don't have to go too far into it, but I feel like Tom Holland's Spider-Man doesn't really get that a lot. Like Tom Holland's Spider-Man just kind of has it good most of the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I like my Peter Parker who's like my life's shit, but I'm Spider-Man and I help people.
Tom Holland is just everyone around me is quirky.
Yeah.
So, AJ, yoink or boink? Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I was going to phrase that so inappropriately. This is a yoink for me, I suppose.
No, you can't suppose. It's either a yoink or a boink. You have to be fully in.
Alright, I'm balls deep in this yoink.
Cool. Commit to the yoink. Luke, yoink or boink?
I am full yoink ahead, baby.
Nice. Okay, so the next game is a game that was long awaited to be announced. And this is Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy.
Was it?
So this is the RPG game that was leaked because they were doing like tests. They were doing like focus tests in a mall or something, and some guy just like recorded the game on his phone and leaked it. And that was like 2 years ago. And Warner Brothers, didn't say anything about this game until today. So, it's Harry Potter. You're going to be in Hogwarts in the late 1800s. And you'll be able to explore, like, outside of Hogwarts and stuff like that. This trailer was really weird because it had narration and music. But there were no, like, they muted all the sound effects from the, like, in the game. So there were lots of, like, explosions and stuff like that. There's just, like, no sound effects. It's just the narration. Yeah, I don't know, like, it's so weird just to be like, here's this here, like, I don't know, this just feels late, in my opinion.
I mean,
I don't know how you guys feel about Harry Potter.
There. So here's the real question. Aside from your love for Harry Potter, is like, how do you feel about J.K. Rowling?
Yeah, it's been said that J.K. Rowling has almost no involvement with the game.
Oh.
Little to no involvement with the game. She didn't write the story or anything. So, I mean, I'm sure she still gets a fat paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you really want to boycott, then you might have to skip this one. But
that lady.
Yeah, it is a weird time to be like, hey, be excited about our Harry Potter thing.
I mean, people still like Harry Potter, and I mean, media still comes out for Harry Potter every now and then. Like, you just had a movie like 2 years ago or something. Fantastical Beasts and Where to Find Them, something like that.
Yeah, I heard those weren't doing too well.
I mean, but it still came out.
True.
It's probably trash, but still came out. So I mean, in that vein, it doesn't seem too crazy. I mean, Harry Potter isn't that old of it. Well, it's pretty old, but it's still relevant in pop culture in some ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So getting another video game still makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think like there's still a lot of relevancy with the franchise. They've kind of kept it going. despite it wrapping a while ago. I will say, like, the trailer didn't impress me. I just got done watching the trailer. It didn't really impress me in terms of, like, what it was showing off. I didn't feel like they really put me in the world. I didn't really feel like they showed off enough gameplay. I think because Harry Potter is a franchise that I enjoyed a lot as a kid, but as an adult I haven't followed up as much with it. So I was hoping that they would show me something that made me say, wow, I'm an adult, I have some nostalgia for this, let me buy it. And I didn't get that from the trailer, especially
this
because...
definitely feels like, especially as an RPG, like your 2-minute trailer is not going to cut it, dude.
No.
Like your 2-minute smash cut is not going to do it. Yeah, we need like a deep dive. We need like we need like here's our character creator. Here's like the skills you can choose. Here's the classes you can focus into. Here's like what you can do. Here's the classes you can go to. Like,
are there any
here's the
main characters in here, like from the movies and books?
No, it doesn't look like. Maybe there might be a few that are pretty old, but I didn't. As I was watching it, I didn't see any major characters that I was like majorly connected to or anything.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with like Harry Potter, but like my understanding is that this game takes place like well before like anything from the books or anything.
Okay, that was going to be a question of mine actually. Was it a prequel or a sequel? I mean, Dumbledore is old, super old. He could be around, perhaps.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know how old Dumbledore is, but
200 years old or something.
Yeah, especially after like leaking 2 years ago. Just coming out and being like, yeah, here's a 2-minute smash cut trailer is like...
Well, and I missed the leak, but if there was a leak 2 years ago and it was like bare bones, I feel like this is still over 2 years out. Like this feels like, hey, here's a taste of some graphics that we put together and some cutscenes, but we don't have any gameplay to show you. Like, to me, I look at this and I say, okay, we won't see this game till 2022, 2023, maybe even later.
Yeah. I mean, the trailer itself says 2021.
Oh, does it? Oh,
yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Avalanche, and Portkey Games.
I like Avalanche.
Working on this. Avalanche, yeah, previously worked on Just Cause and the Mad Max game, which was decent. So I feel like this game could be, could end up being like a decent 7 out of 10, which I enjoy every once in a while. I enjoy a good 7 out of 10 video game.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't look at any Harry Potter game aside from maybe Lego's Harry Potter and expect them to be good. So,
yeah, honestly,
yeah, that game can be a fucking 5, and I wouldn't be disappointed.
Cool. AJ, Yoink or Boink? Harry Potter.
It's gonna be a Boink out of sheer disinterest.
And
Luke, Yoink or Boink?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think I could have been sold by the trailer, but I was a little disappointed. They didn't grab me, so I'm a soft Boink, a soft Boink,
big flaccid Boink.
Yep.
Sorry, Potter fans. Got 2 boinks on that one. All right. Next, we got the Black Ops trailer. I feel like we can just say Yoink or Boink on this. AJ, Yoink or Boink?
I'm actually thinking about it. That's crazy. Because normally this would be a Boink. I don't give a fuck about Call of Duty, but it's like, I don't mind Call of Duty in a form of campaign. I don't like PvP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I play like every 5th Call of Duty or something.
Yeah.
And it's good. They're good games. I just don't need to play every one of them.
Yeah. That's 100% how I feel about it. And like, I don't know how I feel, actually. I mean, I'm gonna say a Yoink, because fuck it, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Luke, Yoink or Boink?
Yeah, so I don't have anything against these games. I grew up, I wasn't allowed to have these games, but I did play them at some of my friends' houses, and I have played a little bit of COD as an adult. Overall, I think they're totally fine. Pretty average shooter. Nothing wrong with it. Once again, like, yeah, maybe one of those games I'll play like every 4 to 5 years. Yeah, and just another yearly to bi-yearly game that comes out that people switch up on. That's a Yoink. It's a Yoink.
You're giving it a Yoink.
Yeah, like, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a good game. I think, like...
Listen, I feel like the spirit of the Yoink is not being used here.
Okay.
Yoink is like, I want this game, like I'm bringing it towards me.
Oh,
Boink,
yeah.
listen. A boink doesn't necessarily have to be bad. All right, you can have a respectful boink.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I just don't have a whole lot of interest. It's one of those games where, like, you know, if Megan picks it up, I'll go and sit and watch her snipe people in the head, and I'll be like, oh, yo, oh my god, headshot, you know, stuff like that. But I'm personally...
You try to snipe people in the head.
If I try to snipe people in the head, it will bounce off the wall and hit me in the head. That's my skill level at Call of Duty. But I guess in the spirit of, you know, keeping the yoink sacred, I'll have to boink it.
Okay, thank you. It's a respectful boink.
What about you, Michael?
You can give it a respectful boink. I don't play yoink or boink. That's ridiculous.
Answer
All right, moving on. Resident Evil 8. This was a new Resident Evil trait trailer. I didn't watch all of this trailer. I kind of skimmed through it because, you know, Capcom basically... I feel confident that Capcom at this point can make a good Resident Evil game after 7 and 2 remake and 3 remake. So I don't want to, like, see too much on it. I know they did show off some werewolves, which is a little ridiculous. We've gone from you know, a virus turning people into zombies to now it just turns people into whatever. Turn them into werewolves. Who gives a shit?
Still feels very somehow thematic and appropriate, honestly. I like how, like, Bloodborne-y that game looks a little bit.
It looks very Bloodborne-y.
I'm into
like
that.
Village, we've got like the half beasts. Yeah, it's very similar.
Yeah, that's you know, ringing bells with me. I like that. I think that...
How do you feel about Chris being a villain? Or at least a antagonistic force?
No, I feel like he's been through enough shit that it's just spilling over now. It's just like, fuck it. I don't even care anymore. I'm with it. Dude, that's actually really cool to me. So I'm with it. I mean, Chris is, you know, big boulder punch man. It's like, how can you stop this guy? He's so cool. Coolest soldier guy. You know? So I think it'll be pretty interesting, actually. And
I'm glad that he looks a little bit more like classic Chris now.
He looks old.
Because the end of 7 was weird.
Yeah.
I like his turtleneck.
They made his face
I
more
like his
blocky.
little sweater. Oh, yeah.
You know, he started hating the weights again, it seems, and you know, I like that.
Mm-hmm. I like that we're going back to Resident Evil 8, or I like that we're going back to the first person perspective. I feel like that was really well done in 7. I feel like they did some really, really cool and really classic shit with the Resident Evil formula. I do hope that we like someday get like Revelations 3 or something. I want like a new original like third person Resident Evil game with like some of the mechanics and stuff from the remakes. But yeah, they nailed it with the first person perspective in 7, so it's cool to go back to that.
I agree. I wish like Rebecca would like come back because she's best girl. I think that'd be really cool. Shit, put Billy in there. Fuck it. Like, Resident Evil has a lot of characters, but they normally choose to only focus on like 4 of them, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and I feel like you could do a lot of those characters in like a Revelations game. You know?
Yeah. Give them
like keep the major ones for like, you know, the 7s and the 8s and the 9s or whatever, and just, you know, give me like a Rebecca and Billy game for Revelations 3.
Well,
or like give me Sherry or something like that. Like that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think even they could get like a mainline game. I mean, they were pro tags of 0. They were the pro tags of a mainline game. So I mean, I get it. They're not the most popular, I suppose, but like, you know, still, it would be nice. Yeah, it would be nice. Have them come back in some form. Shit, even like you said, even in like a literally just to exist. Bring them back.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Now listen, my theory for this game still stands that I believe that Chris is being possessed by Albert Wesker.
Oh my god.
Similar to Liquid Ocelot. How do you feel about this?
I know more about Metal Gear than you, so what you just said was silly.
This is why he kills. This is why he kills Mia. This is why he's like somewhat an antagonist. Is because it's not really Chris. Albert Wesker is like inside his head, or like his leg is like Albert Wesker's leg because the rest of Albert Wesker got burnt in a volcano, but like his leg survived and it somehow got attached to Chris.
Yeah.
I think it's a valid theory. I think it's likely to happen. I think Albert Wesker has somehow inserted himself into Chris Redfield.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people in their fanfics think that as well. You know what? That's goofy, but I'd like it if it was true just because it's goofy. I don't know. That statement, that whole thing has me taken aback right now.
Luke, how do you feel about Resident Evil games?
Yeah, so I actually have never played a Resident Evil game. So I don't really connect with the characters, but I kind of understand the gist of it. I've watched you guys play Resident Evil. But I while you guys were chatting, I got to watch both trailers. The original trailer came out in like June or whatever, and then the most recent one. And I have to say, it's like, this is right up my alley. This gets me, like, the vibes of this game get me really, really excited. Just overall themes and the, like, just the atmosphere and how dark it is. This is the kind of game that could potentially get me to get a PS5. Like, this is very exciting, for sure.
For sure. I think it's a strong showing. They showed Resident Evil, or they showed Resident Evil 8 at a previous PlayStation event. So strong, like, sticking with PlayStation there. It's not going to be exclusive or anything, but it's a cool thing to have, like, in your showcase, I think. Not just once, but twice. But yeah, it says coming 2021. So soon, relatively soon. Hopefully that stays the case. AJ, yoink or boink?
Fucking hardest drink ever. I'm excited because it seems like they're bringing back the attaché case inventory system, and that's a fucking banger langer right there.
And like at the end of the trailer too, like the post, like the stinger, or is it the stinger? Yeah, just like right at the end, there's this guy who's like, "Oh, you're gonna do some window shopping." I feel like this is our new merchant. I feel like this is our new creepy merchant.
Like, I am so into that,
He looks like the Penguin.
It's about time it made a comeback, frankly. It's about time a merchant character made a comeback as well.
Yeah. We need some new memes.
All these things.
We need the next generation of memes, okay?
All these things we're
starting with
have
RE8.
Capcom purists out here, these RE purists losing their shits right now. It's not survival horror. It's not isometric. Blah, blah, blah. But,
like the tank control people?
Yeah.
I feel like those people are fine. Like I don't feel like there's that many of those people.
They can be vocal sometimes. It's weird. I'm very excited for it, and I've liked everything I've seen. I thought the second trailer, the most recent one, had like a weird like Tim Burton's art style to it, like part of it. That was kind of jarring because it almost made me think Sony was playing the wrong video.
Yeah, there's like this interstitial, like it almost looks like Coraline or something like that. Yeah, like something Tim Burton-esque, like Adam and the Giant Peach, or
James and the Giant Peach.
James and the Giant Peach, thank you. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. It's some kind of weird, like they're like telling the folklore of this village, I think, through these kind of interstitial little animated shorts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it'll be really good. I'm ready to get spooked. God, I hope I have control over my flashlight. Capcom likes doing that in these Resident Evil games now. Which,
would it still be a yoink for you if Albert Wesker is possessing Chris Redfield?
Yes, absolutely. And that's stupid, but
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Luke, yoink or boink?
Yeah, definitely right up my alley. I think, like, got some really cool, spooky vibes. It's got a nice atmosphere. I would say definite yoink, for sure.
Cool. Next up, we have another Deathloop trailer. Deathloop is from... what's the studio called? Fuck. The studio that did Dishonored, and I believe they did Arcane. They did the most recent Prey game. This game is coming June 2021. And yeah, I mean, this game, I didn't really watch the second trailer. This game, I think, looked cool from the earlier trailers. I think if you're into those games, if you're into Dishonored, if you're into Prey, like, this looks like another game that you're just gonna really enjoy.
What is this called?
I like the aesthetic. Deathloop.
Oh, that game.
Yeah, I like the kind of like James Bond, aesthetic. They've got like the intro and stuff like that, this animated intro and things. So looks cool. Again, I'm not like a super fan of these types of games, but like definitely looks cool.
Yeah. It looks like Among Us, or that type of game, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Which personally doesn't really appeal to me. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably gonna be a cool game, but like one that I don't know. I will say I don't think it's for me.
Yeah. So are you giving it a boink?
It's a boink for me, yeah.
It's a boink for you, Luke. What about you?
Yeah, so I'm about halfway through the trailer now. I hadn't heard of this game. It looks like it's an FPS. So like, not in general, I'm already not a huge fan of FPS games. I will say I have some nice nostalgic vibes from that like rewind mechanic. It looks like you have. So it looks like if you die, you can like rewind back to some point in the level.
Yeah.
You see that in a lot of games. I think even in like Prince of Persia: Sand of Times, which is very nostalgic, right? So overall, like, really, some cool mechanics. It looks fun. It looks like a nice chill game you could pick up. For me, it's a respectful Boink, just because it's just not something I would pick up. But
cool.
But I like the way it looks.
I appreciate the respectful Boink very much. Next up we have, so I want to set the stage for this next one, because I was at work while this PlayStation presentation was happening, so I was not able to watch it live. But I was staying off of the Reddits, I was staying off the Twitters. I figured I'd get home and I'd watch it, not live, but I'd watch the YouTube video, and it would be, I would be seeing these things for the first time. I would feel the thrills, and I would revel in the surprises. And I actually had my data turned off, so I didn't even have any internets at work or anything. I get home, and my phone connects to my Wi-Fi that I have in my apartment, and I've got like 3 Discord messages that are like, dude, Devil May Cry Special Edition, Virgil, guess who you can play in Devil May Cry Special Edition? I was like, are you kidding me? And so I immediately go to look at this fucking trailer, and it's perfect. Listen, this trailer is perfect, okay? So the game we're talking about here is Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, featuring Virgil from the Special Edition series. And I don't have enough good things to say about this. I'm excited. It's gonna be available for launch, digitally at launch. So like, if I am able to secure a PlayStation 5 pre-order, like, Devil May Cry 5 is literally going to be the first game I'm going to play on my PlayStation 5. Yeah, so they showed off, new playable character, Virgil. He's got a new song, which just released officially today. And it's like 9 minutes long or some shit. Really good. The song is really good. It's written by Casey Edwards, who also wrote Devil Trigger and Silver Bullet for Devil May Cry 5. Which were also complete bangers. They showed off some Virgil gameplay. I think this will be similar to like the other special editions where you play as Virgil, where he'll have like a cutscene at the beginning, and then you'll just play through all the stages, and then there'll be like a cutscene at the end. It's not specifically like a story DLC. But yeah, like, it looks really good. They also showed off, ray tracing, which they're bringing to the game, which actually looks really nice. They have a really nice slide on like the DMC website where you can like slide on a picture and turn ray tracing on and off, which I think is super helpful, because it's hard to show you a video and be like, look, this game looks better with ray tracing. So that looks really nice. They also showed off turbo mode, which is basically like the same game, but everything's like 20% faster. So your moves are 20% faster, and so on and so forth. And then they also showed off Legendary Dark Knight mode, which is a mode which just adds a shit ton of enemies. This mode was in 4, and it's a really fun idea. The problem I have with it in DMC4 is that like I hate DMC4's enemy cast. It's really annoying. So like you get to like mission 10 in that game, and you're like, I don't want to fight 16,000 of these enemies.
That's a fucking.
But I like a lot of. Yeah, it does kind of turn it into a little bit of a Muso game, and I do like a lot of DMC5's enemy types. I feel like they nailed it there. So exciting for sure. Yeah, I mean DMC5 Special Edition. What more can you say?
Oh, you can say that a lot of that shit's not coming to PC.
Yeah, definitely disappointing. Really kind of weird.
Yeah.
They said so Special Edition will be available for PS5 and Xbox at launch digitally, and then physical release will be later. Virgil by himself will be released as DLC for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC versions, but they won't get the turbo mode, the ray tracing, or Legendary Dark Knight mode, which is weird. There's really no reason to not have those things on PC, especially when like mods for those things already exist. I think it's probably I think the reason they're not doing it for PC is because like they're gonna sell Special Edition for $40, right? And like on PS5 and Xbox, it's gonna be like buying a new game. Whereas like for the previous consoles, it's gonna be like buying a DLC. And so I feel like they don't want to be like, okay, pay $40 on PC for a new release on a platform that's not different, like it's just your PC. Mm-hmm. But they also don't want to like, because they can't bring like turbo mode and Legendary Dark Knight mode and ray tracing to PS4, so they don't want to have a DLC that's like just Virgil and then a DLC that's like just the new Special Edition things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's their weird hang up, but it's still just like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't really play Devil May Cry. It's gonna be a boink.
Wow, that feels like a disrespectful boink.
That was definitely a diss.
It really wasn't.
That's a BM boink.
It really wasn't.
Just
listen, can you say it? Listen, when Luke was talking about Deathloop, he was like very nice. He was like, I'm gonna give it a nice, respectful boink. Whereas you're just like fucking boink.
Well, to be fair, Michael, I feel like you're emotionally attached to this game.
Yeah, you're not about to fucking guilt me. What? Oh no.
Listen.
Hmm?
Let me sell you on Virgil. Let me
here
sell
it
you on the
goes.
character of Virgil.
Here it goes.
Let me sell you on the perfect rival that is known as Virgil. No, I actually have some hangups with this too. You know, obviously with the PC stuff, I don't play on PC, but still, I think it's pretty ridiculous. I don't know. I'm a little sad that like it seems like Virgil won't have two of the other weapons that he's used before, Beowulf and Force Edge. Obviously, it makes sense story-wise that he wouldn't have those things. You know, DMC5 Virgil would not have those weapons. Makes sense, but I still really enjoy those moves as part of Virgil's movesets. It does look like they expanded his regular moves. I did not see a Judgment Cut end. There were some regular Judgment Cuts, but I did not see Judgment Cut end, which has me a little concerned. We did see some new special move where he turns into V. That's a whole thing. You guys didn't play Devil May Cry 5, so that's kind of whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's nice. I also wish that like we got like Lady and Trish as playable characters. That would be cool. There's still TGS, which is happening, you know, next week. We could still get some other announcements and stuff like that. I think it's unlikely. I think they would have come out of the gate being like Trish and Lady are also playable. But you never know. Maybe they wanted to give Virgil, you know, his own little spotlight. But I guess AJ's giving this a boink. Luke, what do you feel about Devil May Cry Special Edition?
Yeah, so I know I'm like sympathetically excited for it because you're excited for it. I will say I feel like watching the trailer, I kind of feel like I'm at an EDM concert. It's definitely like a lot of flashy moves. It's like a lot of color. It's a lot of.
Tell me how you feel about Virgil's theme song. Tell me how you feel about it, because it's really fucking good. Okay,
great music.
I'm gonna tell you how you feel about it. You feel that it's really fucking good.
Yeah, no, I know. I 100% agree. It's definitely really good. Like overall, it looks really fun. It looks like a good slash 'em up. I don't know a whole lot about like
Slash 'em up.
how this game plays and how it feels, but it definitely feels like a hack and slash. Wait, you said it's not, AJ?
I've never heard that.
I mean, it's a character action game.
I've just never heard that term before.
What, like a hack and slash?
No, hack and slash.
Slash 'em up.
Hack, yeah, you know what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I've just never heard.
Yeah. but it looks like a fun game. I don't know. Honestly, it kind of makes me feel like it's an arcade game, and I know it's more than that. I know that it's more than that, but that's just kind of the vibe I got. I mean, there's some
arcade shit in there with like turbo mode and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
He's trying to sell you.
I mean, it's a yoink for me. I feel like I would have a lot of fun playing it.
Thank you. Correct answer.
So, when I come by and bring the hot dog soup, maybe I'll sit down and give it a try.
Listen, normally I only give points for winning SAT prep. Luke, you just earned some points.
Okay, wow. I feel like that's BS, but I'll take them.
No, you just earned points. How do you feel?
I feel very upset.
I feel the same as I did 2 seconds ago.
Cool.
Your bias
Excellent.
is showing.
Yeah.
Listen, I won't say that I'm working on getting a cover of Virgil's song to use as the intro to the podcast, but just think about that. Okay. After that, we had another trailer for Oddsworld Soulstorm, which is a sequel to Abe's Odyssey. Not really big on the Oddworld franchise. I know people like those games. I don't know if you guys have ever played those games or enjoyed those games.
Can you repeat the title? What is it?
Oddworld Soulstorm. So there's like Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, and then there's like another Oddworld game.
I also feel like there's like 10 of these games.
Oh, that's like an old game, right?
Yeah.
It feels like there's so many of these.
Okay.
There's like 3 or 4.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like I remember people talking about this. Like, there's definitely some people with nostalgia for it. I never got on this train. I never really knew about this game, but I will say, like, the trailer actually looks super cool. It's
very quirky, and like it definitely has personality and stuff like that.
You even have some like Pikmin aspects, which I know sounds
a
weird,
little bit.
But yeah, you've got the people who follow behind you. It's even got like the aesthetic reminds me of Attack and the Power of Juju. So
that's a fucking name, Jesus Christ.
but I mean, like it's got a cool aesthetic. It looks pretty cool. I never followed the series, so it's the first time I've really looked at it. But I like what I see in the trailer at least.
So is that a yoink? Are you giving this a yoink?
Yeah, definitely a yoink. I feel like this is the kind of game that, like, if I saw it in a bargain bin, for $25, I'd pick it up and I'd play
I don't know, dude.
Right.
I don't know if that's a yoink.
A half-hearted thing. All these yoinks just so he can go play Pokemon and Crash Bandicoot.
Listen, Luke, I know you're a nice guy.
Uh-huh.
I know you're a nice guy and you don't like talking shit.
The devs aren't here.
But,
they can't hear you. It's okay.
You don't need to be nice to them, okay?
Okay, but remember, this is how I feel.
John Oddworld is not in the room right now. You can talk shit about his game.
Look. It's a hard sell for me to imagine playing any PS5 game. So for me to
some of these games are going to be on PC.
Oh, really? See,
yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I just always assume that all of these are like only on PS5, right?
No. Most of these are like a lot of these are. I mean, like Final Fantasy 16. Yeah, like Final Fantasy 16 is console exclusive, but it'll be on PC. Spider-Man is PS5 exclusive. Harry Potter, I assume, will be on most consoles. Call of Duty, obviously, most consoles.
Okay.
Resident Evil will be on pretty much everything. Deathloop will be on everything.
Let me rewind.
DMC5 will be on a bunch of shit. I think Oddworld is even coming to Switch, possibly.
Oh, really?
I think the remake of Abe's Odyssey is on Switch. So, like, this game could be coming to Switch. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
Okay, well, so let me rewind a little bit. Let me say, like, okay, I've been thinking about all these games from, like, a PS5 perspective, which maybe wasn't fair. So if I just think of it as, like, a game, like, agnostic of system, this is a yoink. Like, if this was on the Switch, I would pick this up and play it, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
AJ, yoink or boink?
Boink.
Cool. Moving on. We got a Five Nights at Freddy's game. I feel like we can just skip yoink or boink. AJ, yoink or boink?
Hey, hold on now. That's going to be a yoink for me, personally. I think it looks very fun. And to get a, like, high-def Five Nights at Freddy's game, it's pretty cool. And maybe in this one,
Are you a fan?
Are you a fan of the
franchise? Have you played the other games?
Oh, God. I'm a fan through watching other people play, if anything. I appreciate the series, I'll say. I have not really played the games myself. But I've always thought they were pretty cool.
So are you going to play this game?
Sure. That's why I said yoink. Yeah, I think this game looks cool as hell.
Okay.
It's like you're like running through a big ass maze and stuff too. I like all the neon lights and stuff on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It looks pretty cool.
Luke, yoink or boink?
I don't even know what game we're talking about.
Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Yes.
This is a brand new Five Nights at Freddy's game. It's going to be console exclusive, I assume. Yeah, also coming to PC.
Okay.
Not available on other consoles until 3 months after release, so it probably will be on Xbox as well.
So I feel like this is the kind of game where, like, I hype it up in my head because I love spooky stuff, and then I go and play it, and it's like lukewarm. Now I don't know if that's the case with Five Nights at Freddy. Have either one of you played any of these games?
I played one briefly, and yeah, I mean it's not really my style of horror game because it's just
jump scares, right?
Yeah,
it's basically just jump scare the horror game.
Really?
Yeah,
it's just a good
that's
jump
the thing.
scare game.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But these games
so
are good. It's just what they are. They wear it on their sleeves.
So
I mean, it has good aesthetics and stuff like that. You know, like the creepy Chuck E. Cheese bullshit is a good aesthetic.
Yeah.
Is there a story?
Yeah.
There is a story. Yeah. Apparently, there's like some of the fucking animatronics are like reincarnated children and shit like that.
Okay.
That is a rabbit hole. It's actually pretty.
Yeah, there is lore. There is like hardcore lore.
He has like 50 videos on that shit.
Yeah.
Let me go.
And
save that to my.
It's actually genuinely interesting. I will say, it's genuinely interesting. It's like they're like possessed by children who were killed by this guy at the. There's a lot of stuff in it. There's lore there that's honestly completely missable or it's like playing Dark Souls almost, and that like you could not know the lore and still have fun basically situation with Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. Missable and almost not really important.
But
cool if you're into it.
Yeah, it's there if you want it.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I was kind of lukewarm about it, but I feel like you guys have made me a little bit more interested. But I'm going to have to, at least for now, until I get more into it, I'm going to have to give it a respectful boink.
I would hope that game would have a demo. I want more demos, bro.
Yes.
I don't know if you can really demo that game because I feel like it's not really like a deep game, you know.
But
it's
still,
not like there's not like deep gameplay mechanics, and I feel like if you do a demo,
somebody like 20 minutes, like for somebody like me who hasn't played it, give them 20 minutes of like gameplay to get a taste, right? I feel
agree
like with AJ.
I feel like a demo would just give you like almost like the complete experience. Like you'd be fine just being like, yeah, I played the demo and I was fine.
Oh, come on. Just if
it's
never
that
played
kind of
them,
game.
Try to get past the first night. Even if you were like, the demo is the first 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
That'll give you the
even if like like not even just Five Nights at Freddy, but just in general, like demos in general, I wish there were more of, right? So I mentioned with Crash Bandicoot with the pre-order. Now, okay, actually, I have something to talk about there.
Now, they need to get rid of the pre-order thing, though.
Yes, that I was just about to say. So the pre-order is bullshit. I dislike that, and I hope that's not a trend that more companies do. Like, okay, yeah, so with Crash Bandicoot, they have this special pre-order bonus that on September 16th, which means it's already out, if you pre-ordered the game on PS4, you got to unlock 3 levels early, and you got to experience part of the game.
The fuck?
But you've already bought the game at that point. You're already going to play the game.
That means people can just play. That's that shit where it's like, oh yeah, no, play the game early. Literally in this case, right? Mm-hmm. But the game is already gold, and technically they could just fucking release it.
And a lot of people used to do this. Activision is the publisher who's notorious for doing this with pre-orders and demos. And it used to be like you could pre-order on Amazon and like, you know, you don't pay until it ships. So you could just pre-order, get the demo, or get into the beta. Like Call of Duty would used to have like betas you'd get into and stuff like that, and then cancel, which is annoying. But it's like at least there's kind of a workaround.
That's funny.
There, I don't know if you could do that with this.
I don't know. I've never pre-ordered anything on PS4.
You know, actually, a lot of times I feel like Sony, if you were to try to do it through their system, like through the PS4, they're really no way on a lot of things. Chance. But if you call somebody, they'd probably be like, okay.
Well, like if you're gonna do that, like don't do it on the PlayStation Network. Like do it from buy a physical version from Amazon.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully Amazon just sends you a code, and then you can cancel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, like overall, I don't like that, but I like that there is a demo in general. I feel like more games in general, like for instance, Dark Souls, like it would, the very first boss in Dark Souls 3, that would be an amazing demo. You play that level, you beat that first boss, and then you can decide, oh my god, I'm hooked, or dude, I will never play this for the rest of my life, So I totally agree with AJ. I think like, I want to see this year and next year. I want to see more demos.
You know what's funny about that?
It'd be good.
I think that would be a really cool. If you were just fighting a silent demon, that would be a really cool demo. That would, for a lot of people, probably deter them from playing that game because he's going to kick your ass. But
Asylum Demon.
If you've never played any Souls game ever, let's say like that's how that game was like marketed in like way back in the day, like 2008 or something, and like you're playing like Dark Souls 1, and like you come into that, and that's the only part of the game you can play. That's as far as you beat it. You beat a silent demon. It's like, thanks for playing the game. Please buy the full right. You go through all of that, but it's like you're gonna die. I mean, to be fair, if you're into that, you're probably like, oh, this shit's probably dope as hell, right? Like Luke said. So I feel like you are right about that. And I, on a personal note, would want that because it sounds super cool. But I feel like for some people, it would probably scare them away because the only thing I have to, like, bash my head against to try to get good at this game against is a boss that keeps kicking my ass. That's the only...
And PlayStation actually used to have a lot of, like, time demos. Like, a perk for PS Plus used to be like you could play like 2 hours of a game, right? And you can play as much as you want. You can get as far as you possibly can in the game in 2 hours. Like I know like GTA 4 had a demo like that. Like a lot of games had demos like that on PlayStation.
Oh, but that died with the PS3, didn't it?
If you were a PlayStation Plus man. Yeah, I think so. I don't think they did that too much on the PS4. But yeah, that'd be a cool thing to bring back.
Yeah. Doesn't Nintendo kind of do something like that, where it's like you can only play this short demo X amount of times for some reason? With like some games, I think.
I'm not sure. I mean, some games just straight up have demos.
Free demo disc. I said it. Everybody's been thinking it.
Dude, demo discs. That's such a throwback. I remember there was an era when I was growing up. I still remember getting in the mail a like trailer tape for
oh my god
for Majora's Mask, a VHS tape, putting it in, and like that was all I had to go off of for like a year, just watching that Goron roll down the hill like over and over again. I watched that tape till it busted. man.
I had one of those for the Wii. It was like a DVD in like a little pouch, and it was like just a commercial for the Wii.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh,
Bring it back.
Good nostalgia.
Bring it back like
yeah, I know, right?
Dope ass save icons that the PS2 had.
Oh man,
They were so cool. I swear.
some of them were like kind of creepy too. There's something about like low polygon things that are just like almost inherently creepy.
Nah,
So
but
we-
at the
we
time
talked
you
about
were
that
like, wow,
before.
they look so real.
Well, that's the thing. It's like so. Michael and I have talked about this a few times, but like when it's low polygon, it's almost more scary because it's like reading a book.
It is,
right? Because
yeah.
you fill in those gaps with your imagination, and 9 times out of 10, you know, that's a lot scarier than some uncanny valley, not quite right 3D image that's like 4K, right?
And even just like creepy games, like not even like your Resident Evils or your Silent Hills. Like sometimes like even jolly games, like there are parts of Mario 64 that are like, this is kind of creepy, dude.
Oh, dude, I mean, like I get.
Like
I was gonna say
turning
no spoilers.
turning a hallway, and like especially when your camera's bad and you're like, oh shit, there's a ghost at the end of that hallway, and he's like low poly, he's creeping me out.
Okay, I don't want to spoil anything in case AJ you get to play this level at some point, but piano, Booze Castle. Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Wait, in which game?
In Mario 64. Oh my god.
Oh, I've probably seen it before. I just can't remember it.
Okay, yeah. So in Booze Castle, there's this room where you step in, and there's just a piano sitting there, and you get a little bit closer, and you find out it's a mimic, and it just opens up and starts chasing after you. Keys are flying, and like as a kid, that terrified me. But I love spooky stuff, so despite that, it's still my favorite level. It's awesome.
I remember watching Uzu play yesterday, actually, and that was a thing we were both talking about that it was kind of interesting to see. It spooked both of us a little bit, and it was one of the water levels that has like this eel in the water.
Oh yes!
And it was like, as a kid,
yes!
it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, dude, because it was
He
gigantic,
is
bro.
unnecessarily creepy.
It was so big, and it's just like, oh, dude.
And like there's something about like early like PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, like there's something really creepy about low poly things swimming around. Like specifically things in the water is like it's creepy. Like stuff underwater in general is creepy, right? Like inherently creepy.
Oh yeah, of
man,
course. It's like the
Cthulhu's down
unknown,
there,
right?
bro.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
so-
deep down there.
Yeah.
Just being like, hey, there's this creepy little low poly eel, it's swimming around.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely.
You know what? I
definitely
think
a scary
that's
one.
why people like Subnautica, because it has a lot of that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Lapis would hate.
Okay. Back to the PlayStation event. So next up, we have Demon Souls. We got a little extended look at Demon Souls. Looks fucking great. Environments look great. Lighting looks great. Mood looks great. It was a little weird because like enemies were dying in one hit. I feel like they probably just had like God mode turned on or something, so that it wasn't like taking forever. But this game looks really good. I've been kind of lukewarm on this since it was announced, and even before when it was like heavily rumored that this was what Blue Point was working on.
Why so?
Because I really enjoy Demon Souls. I think Demon Souls is great. There's a part of me that's just like I don't know, playing Demon Souls like again with like good looking textures and stuff. Like I don't know. There's something about it that's just like that's cool. It'll be nice to play Demon Souls and not feel like your character is moving through molasses. Yeah, I mean, this trailer looks like really fucking good. I feel like it's still a little uncertain because Blue Point, also did the remake of Shadow of the Colossus, and that was pretty much just a 1-for-1 remake. It just looked better, and they did add like 1 or 2 things. But this is like, you have to wonder because I haven't done like a shot for shot, comparison, but I feel like animations look different, which animations in Souls games like changes the way the game feels and the game flow. So if this is less of like 1-for-1 remake and more of like, you know, they expand upon some things. Like maybe they'll add in that other fucking the broken stone with the level that you can't go to.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they add that in, that'd be fucking crazy. And like Bluepoint is a competent developer. They previously, before doing the Shadow of the Colossus remake, they did all of the like HD ports of like Uncharted, and they did the God of War ports and stuff like that. And they did a really good job with that stuff. And so they were given a little bit of a bigger project with Shadow of the Colossus, and they did really well with that. And so now they've been given an even bigger project, in my opinion. And it looks really good, and it's coming to launch. It's going to be a really exciting launch game.
The fact that that's a launch title is amazing. I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see what people think of it, especially those like who have never played it before, which I'm kind of in that vein, right? As someone who's dipped their toes in Demon Souls but never beat it, and those who are completely new to it. And I think that's why it's cool that it exists, because for a lot of people, it's like why it would be cool that there was a P3 remake. P3 is old enough that like it has mechanics in it that would be incredibly frustrating for people nowadays because they're big babies to like go back to. Especially if you started that game out, if you went P5, P4, P3, you would hate P3. I can't even control my party member. Like people would freak the fuck out.
And same thing with Souls games. It's like if you started with, you know, any of the later ones, like going backwards would be like, whoa.
Yeah, so that's why like
I mean, like I said, like if you try to play Demon Souls on PS3 right now, like, you know, the game feels like you're moving through molasses. And then, you know, they also shut down like the online components, and so, you know, this game, the trailer did show like messages and stuff like that, so that will be, you know, revived again, that kind of multiplayer suite.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting.
Is coming back. It's gonna be dope.
I hope they add some of the quality of life stuff from like the later Souls games. Like I hope we can get like, I really just want like fight clubs like we had in you know the Dark Souls games, because I love the fight clubs. They're so dumb and fun.
Player arena, go kill each other.
Well, not even that. Like that part I don't like. I actually prefer the impromptu, like, hey, this area is fun to fight in. Everyone put their fucking summon signs and invade at this area to do fights. Like the bridge in Dark Souls 2 in Iron Keep, where it's just like, yeah, everyone just comes here to do Fight Club.
That place outside Slug in 3. It's weird.
Yeah, the place outside Pontiff.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think I'm really excited for this game.
The soundtrack, dude. Soundtrack sounds really good.
I think that Demon Souls always had a really cool aesthetic to it. I mean, all those games do. But I really like Demon Souls. I really do hope that they make it a bit more accessible. I felt like leveling up in Demon Souls was really weird when all the stats were just a bunch of fucking squigglies and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Right? That was weird to me.
Yeah. There's some stuff that they can definitely improve, like the fucking white or dark.
Yeah, the world tendency stuff.
World tendency.
Yeah.
And like grinding for items in some cases is pretty annoying, but
yeah, it was very obtuse in a lot of ways, which was interesting, but made doing some things really tedious for a lot of people. But I feel like now that game's gonna come out and it's gonna be interesting, right? Because for a lot of people that came out in pre the jerk off to how hard Dark Souls was, there was Demon Souls, and it was like, this game is fucking challenging. And now you have all
and it's cool too because it'll be cool because Sony's relationship with the Souls series has really changed. Like when Demon Souls first came out, Sony didn't actually publish that game. Like Atlas in America, Atlas ended up actually publishing that game in America, and it caused FromSoft to kind of step away from Sony, and Dark Souls was multi-platform, and Dark Souls kind of blew up, and Sony was like, oh shit, we fucked up. And they went and talked to him, and they got Bloodborne to be an exclusive. So it's cool to see Sony be like, hey, we kind of missed the ball on this. Let's kind of lean into this genre of game.
I think
because our fans really seem to enjoy it.
And it's something that people have definitely been asking for. I think it's going to be really cool. I think they might have to toss in some new stuff just for. Well, they don't have to, but I don't know. I feel like that may be the one where like. Well, if it's modernized, maybe not. But like, if you went to go play Demon Souls now, if you're somebody like you or me, and it's like, okay, we've played these types of games before. You've of course actually just played Demon Souls. But like, let's say you went in and completely blind, it still wouldn't be as challenging for you specifically because you know how these games work already, And like, I bring that up because as much as Demon Souls is like the OG of like the Souls games, it's still the one that's like when you go back to it, you're gonna just clap everything. You're gonna die for reasons such as you trying to react to things too fast. As weird as that,
Yeah.
And like, that's gonna be weird to me. One thing I really do hope they put in as messages is like, hey, if you press forward on a ledge, sometimes you can climb up them. Because they don't tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't.
Like,
but yeah, it's cool. This game, I think, is the most impressive next-gen game that we've seen so
very,
far.
Very nice.
Like, just the lighting and, like, like the first boss, just, like, his gross, like, texture and, like, the way he's got, like, little tentacle nipples and stuff like that.
Dude,
and they waggle around and stuff like that. And the blood effects and stuff like that. Like, it looks incredibly impressive, and I think this game definitely sells, like, the PS5. And it being a launch title especially is, like, really strong.
When I look at it, when you say that, it actually, in my mind, looks like what a cutscene would be.
Yeah.
Like the level of quality that's put into that game as a whole looks like something that's
like Demon Souls.
Cutscene.
Yeah, like Demon Souls Remasters looks better than like the intro to Demon Souls at this point, like the original one.
That was clean. Oh, dude, I can't wait to see what that's gonna look like.
Yeah. So AJ, yoink or boink?
Hardest fucking yoink ever. Full yoink.
Luke, yoink or boink?
So I have never gotten to play a Dark Souls game all the way through, but I've watched a lot of my friends play Dark Souls. I've watched both of you play Dark Souls. I've watched, Sekiro and Bloodborne and all those games. I've watched a tiny bit of Demon Souls, and I really enjoyed playing through Dark Souls 3, the first little part that I did.
You liked your demo?
I liked my demo. Yeah, fighting that boss and beating that boss was one of the biggest adrenaline rushes in gaming I've ever had. And I think I look forward to getting that with this game. Like AJ said, like graphically, it looks just beautiful. Like I could just walk around and parry enemies for hours, just like enjoying those animations.
Oh, okay.
And the movement.
You're like you're coming in here and you're like, listen, I don't play Dark Souls games, but I'm definitely gonna just get in here and start parrying enemies, no problem.
Well, okay, I will say in my
I'm just gonna casually walk through Demon Souls and parry enemies and enjoy the environment.
Hey, if parrying is as easy as it was in Dark Souls 3, I'll be a master at it. Because I played that first area
big words.
a bunch.
Okay.
And I was like,
okay.
I was parry, repost.
The first area.
Remember, I had a great teacher named Sword_Guy_5, and he was sitting right behind me, guiding me, and I learned a lot of stuff. By the time I got through that ringer, I was a repost and parry master, man. I'm telling you.
Listen, I'd like to make a bet with you on.
Oh no, not against
what
you.
What kind of parries you're going to be doing in Demon Souls?
I'm assuming it's a step up in difficulty.
I couldn't even remember that Demon Souls had a parry. I thought that was a new feature.
Maybe it doesn't.
When I saw that.
I mean, they show one off in the.
Yeah, I saw.
It might be a new feature. I forget. It's been so long.
Well,
and like all the games kind of mixed together.
They like parried a
blue-eyed knight.
Like swung his sword.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. Yep, the blue-eyed knight.
And that's something to keep in. He's a blue-eyed knight. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing about that.
I'll keep that in mind. I don't know what that is, but But
All
yeah,
right, so yoink or boink.
definite yoink. I feel like if I get an opportunity to play this, I will really, really enjoy it. Smash my head into the concrete till I win.
I will say for a lot of
Cool.
people, that actually is a system seller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah,
For
no
sure.
doubt. I mean, it's beautiful. Like the trailer is just like aesthetically, it's incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, I know myself and a lot of people that I've talked to before, like, Bloodborne was the thing that got them to buy a PS4.
Bloodborne, you can play it.
So yeah, people are hungry for these games, and yeah, I agree that this being at launch is incredibly strong.
Absolutely.
Okay. So after that, we got just a little mini announcement. We don't have to rank this one. But they did announce PlayStation Plus collection for the PlayStation 5, so this will be a new feature for PlayStation Plus subscribers, where they will be able to access a number of like PS4 games, like God of War, and they'll be able to just kind of play those on the PS5, which is cool. You know, I probably own most of these games anyway, so. But it's cool. If you're new, like, you know, if you're new to the PlayStation ecosystem, I think this is a pretty strong deal. You know, being able to say, like, here's Demon Souls, here's Spider-Man, you know, Miles Morales, and also if you get PlayStation Plus, like, play all these really great PS4 games. I think that's, you know, a strong add to the PlayStation Plus lineup.
Absolutely.
And then after that, we got release dates and prices. So we got our release date for the PlayStation 5 is November 12th. The standard edition will be $499 US, and the digital edition with no disc drive will be $399 US. And if we compare that to Xbox, the Xbox Sex is $499, and the Xbox SES is $299. So yeah, it's interesting. I think these are really good prices. I'm definitely leaning towards, if I can get one, the digital edition, because I pretty much buy most of my games digitally anyways. And like $100 discount is like pretty sweet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But being said, the pre-order situation was kind of a mess. So Sony did say in their presentation that pre-orders would go live the next day. That did not end up happening. Pre-orders went live kind of everywhere, sporadically, randomly on different sites. Best Buy had them up for a little bit. Target had them up for a little bit. GameStop supposedly had them up. And it was just a mess. And, you know, they were gone in an instant. Amazon didn't go up until the next day, like Sony said. But again, they were gone pretty much instantaneously. Sony did actually issue an apology, which is very rare for Sony. But they did say that they were sorry for, you know, the way that pre-orders were handled, and that it was not handled very well, which it was not. And so maybe they'll try to alleviate things a little bit. But I was not able to get a PS5. I'm a little disappointed. But hopefully that will be alleviated a little bit. I am wondering, like, how many PS5s have actually been manufactured, you know, due to COVID-19. I imagine, like, some of these manufacturing plants were shut down or slowed down a little bit. So who knows, like, what the situation will be like if it'll be hard to actually pick up a PS5. But I need one, man, because Virgil's coming out, and I need to play that day one.
Fuck Virgil.
I need that Virgil, dude. I need it.
You need it.
I would be upset if November 12th rolled around and I knew other people were playing as Virgil and I could not. I would be upset.
Video games have been going in recently.
Yeah, I think PlayStation, you know, with this event and their previous PlayStation 5 event have been really strong. I think they have a really strong launch lineup.
And you know,
I think compared to Xbox, I think Sony in general, you know, treats their first-party studios a little better than Xbox does, and they manage them a little bit better. I know some people were expecting Sony to, like, I think they were expecting Sony to be way overpriced than the Xbox, and they didn't. You know, their box is the same. You know, their standard edition of the next gen console is the same price. And then you've got the Xbox S, which is like a really weird product. I feel like, yeah, I think they've had a strong, people have complained that it's taken forever to get any news about the PlayStation 5. It is a weird kind of cycle. Normally we get like 8 months or so in advance and we get a bunch of news, whereas this is like, we're like a month and a half out from launch and we're just getting the price and we're just getting like some of these games that are going to be available. So it is weird. It's a weird year in general. Understandably so, but I think Sony's, been hitting it pretty hard and pretty good, so props to them.
I think I'll be more, and I've always I would like a PS5. I do like the prices. I will say I thought the PS5 was going to be like $600, so given like how much
I
Sony
think
was waiting.
People are expecting $600 again, like the PS3 was.
I definitely was. I can't never front. I will say though, I would be interested in a digital version, even though I do like cool cases, but Sony seems to have strayed away from cool cases for games. Except for the fact that they have not given... Have they given like an actual... Is that like 876 gigs or whatever true?
Oh, that was listed on Target. I'm not sure if that's exactly true. So Target listed the hard drive space as being like 875 gigs or something like that, which would technically be like it's probably like it's a 1 terabyte hard drive, is what they would sell it as. But you're left with this amount of space after the OS and after. I think they said like Playroom is going to be like pre-installed. Playroom is the shit with like Astrobot, or it's just going to be like kind of platforming shit that will come like pre-installed as a free game basically on the PS5. So I imagine like you can delete that and like get some more space.
Because I'd like to be like, I'll get that one because I'm into that, but like I guess we'll just have to see how big games get over time, or how big games will be at launch, because that plays a very key factor in that for me. Not that I want to store every game in my Steam library, so to speak, but like I want to be able to have more than just like 3 games.
Yeah, especially with like we're gonna have 8K textures and all this shit. Yeah, I mean we'll have to see. I don't think we've gotten any like official sizes on any of these games that have been confirmed, for launch and stuff. But
that's the
we'll
only
see.
thing that has me on the fence. But other than that, like I'd definitely be into it.
I hope so. The PS3 and the PS4 are really easy to replace a hard drive, and like when I say really easy, I mean like they're made to be like an idiot can do this, because it's literally like you unscrew the thing and put the new hard drive in, and then you have to like put a USB with the OS on there. But it's like ridiculously easy. Like it's not like you don't have to be a tech head to be like, yo, I replaced my fucking hard drive on my like you just do it. So hopefully, if that's the case, if you can kind of easily replace your hard drive, I'd probably just pick up a 2 terabyte hard drive and put it in there.
I think that's a happy solution, but you shouldn't need that solution. That should be a plus.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it all comes down to, like you said, how big game sizes are, and if we're looking at like 100 gigabyte games, then it's really not going to be enough. But hopefully, hopefully like developers learn to optimize and compress a little bit better than they have been.
It's just gonna be pre-downloaded DLC that you gotta buy, but it's already on there.
I wouldn't hold my breath that developers improve game size.
Certainly, but
Call of Duty.
It's a happy thought. So there was that, and then Sony ended the presentation by giving just a little teaser for God of War Ragnarok. So this would be a sequel to God of War 2018. They have a date here as 2021. I'm not sure how accurate that would be. I mean, it's possible, I suppose. This is a little disappointing. I hate when games do the thing where like the first game has like just a really like the first trailer for God of War 18 was like you're just in there, right? Like we introduce you with a little bit of cutscene and then like here's some gameplay. Like it was a good trailer, right? Whereas this is literally just like a logo, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, it's because they already have you
And
sold.
it's kind of like, yeah, I feel like once you kind of sell someone on the first game, you can get away with this on a second game, and it's a little disappointing. I would prefer not to see this game until you have something to show me. But God of War Ragnarok is actually something that I'm like heavily excited for. I would say as far as like video game characters that I'm invested in, like God of War is pretty much like one of the only ones, along with DMC. Because God of War 2018 was just phenomenal. Game looked great, had a great soundtrack, had fantastic voice acting, had really fun and engaging gameplay. I know some people were complaining about like they needed more bosses, and I agree. They did reuse the troll boss quite a bit.
Definitely needed more diversity.
But the combat was really satisfying. Like there was some really cool stuff in there. The exploration was really satisfying. The story beats were very satisfying, and that game ends in like a very exciting way. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm in for sure. This is like definitely one of my top 5 like anticipated games, you know, that are confirmed to be coming out.
I'd agree. I definitely agree. My hope for this game is that we have more characters in it. Like, just period. There's a lot of people in the Norse pantheon, and like, I mean, shit. Even if we saw Hela in Hell, or like, I don't know, show us Surtur, or so like, there's a ton of characters that could have.
Surtur's definitely a possibility. They teased that a lot in one of the areas in the first game.
I would be really into that, you know, because there's a lot of characters in the whole Norse pantheon that could.
Yeah, Norse lore has some weirdos.
Oh,
for
100,
sure.
And that's like I'm like, and with this being Ragnarok, this is like, oh, you could make a sequel, but it's like, can you really though? Because it's Ragnarok.
Yeah, it is weird to be like. I mean, games I don't think have to be trilogies, and if they feel like, hey, you know, we've got a 2-game kind of arc here, like I feel like that'd be fine. And I would like to see like as good as God of War 2018 was, and it was very good, and it did kind of save Santa Monica Studio because they did have a failed sci-fi game, and God of War 2018 was basically like, this game better be good or the studio might go under.
What was that sci-fi game?
It was like similar to Destiny or something. It was like not. I don't think like. It was similar aesthetically to Destiny. It was. Yeah, I mean, there's not like too much on it. I think that's been released, but yeah, they were working on a sci-fi game, for a long time, and because like previously to God of War 2018, their last game was God of War Ascension on PS3.
That was a while ago.
And they did some like publishing of some indie stuff. They published some little indie games and stuff like that. But as far as like them developing a game, like yeah, there's a large stretch there, and yeah, God of War 2018 was basically like do or die for that studio. Luckily, it ended up being very good, sold very well. So yeah, like you know, if I would like to see Santa Monica like do something else than God of War, because they've been doing God of War for a long time, and obviously the new God of War is very different from old God of War. But I think, you know, it's a very talented studio. There's a lot of very talented people there, and I think they could, you know, create a brand new IP and it be very exciting.
I think it's just what they like.
Yeah, that's you know, also true or possible.
Or Sony told them this is what you like.
Yeah, it's also possible. So yoink or boink on this one, AJ?
That's gonna be a yoink for me. I really enjoyed the first one. And this is a weird statement, but I always thought that the story was kind of like okay, but the writing in that game was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, like the characterization is very good, and yeah, it's one of those games where you just want more of those characters because like they're fun to be around.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see them go through shit.
Like, I just want to listen to them talk. Like, I'll just sit, like, I know plenty of people, like, yo, Mimir's opens his mouth, bro, stop rowing that boat right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that game is just, like superbly designed. I really do. Just, like, all of the side content is good and engaging. and it plays into the world. It doesn't just feel like, oh, you're just doing a thing. It feels like, even when you're just doing little side quests and side missions and stuff like that, it feels important, and it plays into, it might not play into the grand story overall, but it still plays into, Kratos and his son and their relationship, and he kind of plays off those themes. So.
Yeah, I hope, I guess my main hope, other than seeing more characters, is learning a bit more about the missus. Learning a bit more about, Kratos' wife. And
I think you might be a little disappointed.
Probably, honestly. She almost feels like a MacGuffin.
But I hope Kratos... Yeah, sort of. My hope is that Kratos doesn't die, because a lot of people are like, all right, Kratos is going to die, but I feel like God of War 2018 proves that you can keep Kratos, right? It's like, we don't have to kill him. We don't have to get a new protagonist. Like, we can keep Kratos, and we can still do interesting things with him.
Damn,
So
I wouldn't even lie. I wouldn't even mind. Not even because I dislike Kratos. I think Kratos is great. I still stand by Kratos isn't necessarily a good person now. But,
yeah, sure. I just feel like a lot of people think that, like, death is, like, the thing to do for, like, character development, and I kind of just generally disagree with that. I feel like you don't have to kill your character to, like, end their arc, or, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean?
100%. I agree with that. And
Luke, I don't know, you probably haven't played God of War, but...
Yeah, so my exposure to God of War is... I used to carpool with Brett to work every day, and I got to listen to a lot of, like, stories about the game and the characters, and it sounded like right up my alley in terms of story. Now, I don't really know what the gameplay is like, so, like, I can't give a proper yoink without knowing kind of how the gameplay is, but overall the story, if I knew more, it would be a yoink, because the story sounds really interesting and the characters sound like they have a lot of depth and there's a lot there.
So a respectful boink.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay, I'll accept it. And that was the end of the PlayStation 5 conference. So just in general, thinking about the whole conference in general, would you give it a yoink or a boink? Luke, I'll start with you.
For which one?
Just like the whole conference in general.
Oh,
overall.
I would say definite yoink. I think the combination of the games they're releasing and the fact that there are multiple models of the system. I remember when AJ kind of showed me the first release of, like, the digital only. I remember being a little bit triggered because I was like, dude, this is not accessible. This sucks for so many people. And I think maybe that was a little short-sighted because obviously it wouldn't have made sense for them to release only a digital version. But yeah, overall, definite yoink.
Cool. AJ?
I'd say definitely yoink, and also one of Sony's best, like, presentations just in general, honestly. This one was nothing but, like, basically non-stop trailers, which is what people have always really wanted. And, like, especially at E3s and shit, you always get, like, business guy talking, but business guy has to talk, right? So I get it. But people want those trailers, and that's what we got, back-to-back trailers, and we got information on the things that a lot of people were hyped for, or wanted to hear at the very least. And, yeah, I'd say they just came out swinging. They honestly just came out swinging, finished pretty strong. I like what I saw. Definite yoink.
Is that a yoink?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Sony
Yeah, I feel like Sony has definitely done really well with this, like, Nintendo Direct style presentation, which is cool, because some people try the Nintendo Direct approach and they don't do very well with it. So it's nice that they usually knock it out of the park.
What are things called? State of Game or something?
State of Play is normally, like, what they're called.
I don't care for that title, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's all right. So moving on from that, I believe it was the next day we also got a Nintendo Direct Mini partner showcase, or as some people might call it, a PARD showcase. And we got some stuff. We got some cool stuff. So, like, right out of the bat, and this was kind of heavily rumored a few weeks beforehand, but we got a new Monster Hunter game. This is Monster Hunter Rise. It will be released soon. Listen, we've had this argument before, you and I. This is the ideal game announcement, okay? This is the perfect game announcement because they showed the game. There was no like, here's a logo. They just start. Here's the game. Here's some gameplay. Here's a little bit of what it looks like. Here's some like new stuff. We got the doggos. We got the wire bugs. We got like Breath of the Wild climbing around on shit. And then they're like, listen, this game's coming out March 26th. Okay, we have a release date, and it's soon. It's not even a year out. There's no like, this game's coming whenever. This game's coming 2022. Here's just, we're working on a Monster Hunter for Switch. It's like, we have it, we're ready to show it off, and it's coming out soon. This is the ideal game announcement.
I agree. I agree. I think that like having something to show will definitely get people more hyped. But for some things, God of War Ragnarok as an example, I'm so hyped for it. They showed literally nothing.
Yeah, but I feel like it was unnecessarily because everyone knows it's coming anyways. And if you don't have anything to show, then don't show nothing.
Well,
like you should. I feel like you should show nothing. Instead of showing nothing, if that makes sense.
Don't even say you have a
like,
game
just
announced
don't
if you're
show
not
up.
show anything.
Yeah, it's like, okay, fine. Like I have nothing to think about, right? Because I'm already like with God of War, it's like I've already been thinking about like where the story could go. Like I don't need a fucking logo to make me go, oh shit. Like I've already been thinking about what could come next. So if you don't have anything to tease, to like show me, it's like, just don't bother. Just don't show up.
Feel like you're getting blue balled.
Just work on your game. I won't be mad if you don't show up. With anything, if you're working on the game.
Hey, you know what though? Even if Capcom only showed Monster Hunter Rise, I'd still be hyped as fuck.
I'd be upset. I would be angry.
There's a very little chance of them ever doing anything like that, but like for Monster Hunter at least.
Yeah, Capcom recently especially has been really good at... Capcom has been crushing it with the ideal game announcement, right? Like Resident Evil 8 coming out next year. DMC was announced at E3 and came out in March. Monster Hunter was announced at E3 and came out like February the next year. Resident Evil 2 was announced at E3, came out, in February. Resident Evil 3 was announced, came out like 6 months later. Like, Capcom's been really good at keeping their shit together until their games are like less than a year out, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, most definitely. I think, I don't know, call me a big Mindhunt stan, but I'll say this specifically. In the form of, all they have to say is, right, even if they were just like, Rise is a traditional Monster Hunter game, so it's not like stories, right? That would honestly mostly just be it. Why? Specifically because Monster Hunter is a formula that I feel would be incredibly hard for them to fuck up at this point. And with that, like, it's a company that I honestly just hold a lot of trust in to do it right. So I have no personal, like, yeesh, I gotta see some proof of concept with this. It's gonna be another Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, Cap God has returned.
Yeah, they got my faith.
And, so Monster Hunter, so they showed off, like, 4 new monsters. I'm not even gonna try to, like, pronounce these monsters' names. But we got, like, a couple, like, cool-looking raptors. We got, like, this really cool-looking fucking platypus thing that eats a Zeros.
Another 4 monster.
And a turf war, which looks really, really cool. And then we got, like, the flagship monster, which looks pretty cool. Kind of like a Japanese aesthetic here. We've got, like, the Japanese kind of environments and ninja aesthetics and stuff like that. Some of these monsters look like maybe like Japanese folklore monsters. So that's really cool. They also showed off some dog companions to go along with your palicos. These are called palamutes, and you'll be able to ride them and bring them into combat. So anyone who is like, yo, Monster Hunter seems cool, but listen, I'm more of a dog person than a cat person. Well, here you go. Now you have no excuse.
Wooly is very happy.
Yes. It's going to feature a large, seamless map, so it'll be similar to World, where you won't have, like, loading screens. which is nice. I like that. I appreciate that. It makes it feel more lived in, makes it feel more immersive. They showed off some new traversal mechanics. So you've got the wire bug, which lets you kind of swing around and you can like climb on mountains and shit like that, which I'm not sure exactly how I feel about, because I feel like some of that stuff is not what I'm interested in when I'm thinking about Monster Hunter. But I'm sure it like plays great, you know. I'm sure
you
it's
gotta
fine.
innovate somehow.
Sure. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'm sure it will be fine. I don't want to be like, oh man, I gotta travel around this fucking mountain to get to the monster or something.
I feel you.
But I'm sure it will be fine. So yeah, and they've said that this is a not a spin-off. It will be quote unquote mainline, kind of like World was mainline. It's not numbered, but it's not gonna be like just a spin-off. They've announced already, which is expected, that they'll you know do like free monsters and free post-release content and stuff like that. So yeah, really exciting.
Hey, do you mind if I go to the bathroom real quick? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure, dude.
I'll be
Yeah, Monster Hunter, really
I'm
cool,
excited for it.
really fun.
Some of the combos and stuff you could. I like that you can add the wire to your combos with a lot of attacks, like sword and shield. Do like this?
Yeah,
big,
it's very Sekiro.
it really do. It just makes me think of Freedom Wars. Underrated, but
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's gonna be utilized in ways a bit more. I'll put it like this: I would rather use that wire to like smack a monster with like a flashy technique than I would just to clutch claw into a wall. Honestly, just because it looks cooler. If it was something like a hunter art.
sure. Yeah, it's exciting, and it's coming out soon, so that's great. I hope they keep some stuff from World. Like, I hope they keep. Mainly, I just hope they keep some of the weapon movesets. Like, I hope, you're not stuck to like just one move and like a hunter art or something like that. I like having kind of all the moves baked into the weapon. Yeah. So I think that will be really cool. I haven't seen any hammer. Haven't seen any hammer in the trailer, but I'm sure it's there.
And you don't need that. You're a switch
so I'm excited for that.
Anyway.
Yeah. Luke, when are you gonna get in on some Monster Hunter action with us?
So, I own two of the games at this point. I've got Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Generations.
Wait, you own Generations?
Yep, he sure does.
Yeah.
On Switch?
I do, yeah. We just gotta get into it.
Have you played it? Listen, we're into it. Me and AJ are into it.
I mean, we as in, and me too. It's just getting some time in on there with y'all.
Have you like booted it up at all?
Tutorial shit.
No,
Did you create your character?
I would love to tell you. I just downloaded it last week, and I just haven't gotten around to it. It's been pretty busy, but it will happen.
Hey, you know what though? Breto is going to be playing it because he has it now too, so that might be a good time to come play together.
How many? It's only 4-player, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the hunts, yeah. But listen, you can dress up your Palico as Dante.
Oh, I'm sold then.
Yeah,
you can dress up like Dark Magician.
Okay,
but more importantly, you can dress up your Palico
or
as Dante.
Isabel.
I feel like AJ's selling me a little bit more. He knows my heart.
So fucking dope.
I mean, Monster Hunter is great. Monster Hunter has like great just like gameplay loop, and
dude, the crossovers are great.
Feels satisfying.
You could be Link. You could be like
the
17 versions of Link.
You can be Samus.
Star Fox. You could be Rio Hayabusa. That probably doesn't mean anything to you, but that's cool. Shout out to fucking Strider.
Wait, so how much of World did you play?
Like less than 6 hours.
Okay, so you created your character at least in World.
Yeah. I really struggled with the map. Like there's like an introductory quest kind of, and I had a lot of trouble beating it. It took me what I think most people take 20 to 30 minutes to do. Took me hours. So I think that turned me off a little bit. But I think maybe with a group, it wouldn't be so bad.
Generations U is definitely, I feel
It's a
like,
bit more simplistic.
more fun to play with a group than like World to me is like an action game. So I'm like, I feel more comfortable playing World by myself. But Generations is very fun to play with other people.
I love it.
I hope you get in there.
Bro.
So AJ, yoink or boink?
Is this a question? Definite yoink. Give it to me right fucking now. Please, Capcom.
Luke, yoink or boink?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the trailer and I was like, I mean, my jaw was dropped the whole time.
Which was your favorite monster in the trailer?
I don't know if I could recall one. Let me go. I guess I can look.
Also, side note, this game also just looks very pretty.
It does look very impressive for a Switch game. Like extremely impressive for a Switch game. I think people were expecting with the rumors like something that looked closer to like Generations U. But yeah, like this is even closer to World's aesthetics than
Yeah.
the older
I find
games.
it funny that people would expect that, considering GU was just like a port of a 3DS game. That's why it looked like that.
Sure, but I think people kind of expect, less with the Switch.
No, but
I
I mean,
guess.
like, this is a proper
which I mean-
Switch game. Like, this, like, even,
Yeah.
I mean, like, by that same mean, that's like saying that, like, and I get what you mean, but, like, go play Legend of Zelda. That game looks great. That game's look really good.
Sure. But like heavily stylized,
Yeah.
right? Like Legend of Zelda is very stylized. Whereas this game just looks really good. Like it's not necessarily like, I mean, obviously Monster Hunter has like a unique style. But yeah, just super impressive for sure. Super impressive like lighting. Like some of the nighttime scenes, where you're like shooting the wire and it's got a really nice glow on there.
Yeah. I feel you. Alright, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
So I'm looking at these monsters, and I feel like the Magnamalo kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Gilgamesh from Final Fantasy, just on all fours.
Yeah.
Definitely get some vibes with that. But I think my favorite has got to be that like disgusting blob of a Tetranodon.
The platypus thing.
Yeah, dude, that thing is wild. That thing is wild.
Yeah, he
to look
looks
at.
great.
Yeah.
He looks great. Like definitely like a new iconic Monster Hunter thing in my opinion.
I just love, like, I love gross creatures, and like I mentioned a few times, I love spooky stuff, and I feel like that's something like you could potentially see in a horror game,
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I am very hopeful. Listen, Capcom, if you're listening, my open letter to you is this. You are soon to release Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition featuring Virgil from the Special Edition series. I know all of your Monster Hunter games typically include Dante as either a Palico costume or a Hunter costume. For Monster Hunter Rise, I implore you to include Virgil as a costume that you can acquire, either for your Hunter or your Palico or your dog. I know you're going to have Amaterasu as a dog costume. Like, lock that in. Draft your tweets, because I'm pretty sure you can already dress up your Palico as Amaterasu. But listen, I need some Virgil love, alright? You always put Dante and stuff. You always put Dante in, like, your SMT3s, in your Monster Hunters. Give me some Virgil, alright? Give me some Virgil. Or, even better, give me some Nero, okay? You've got this weird wire bug thing. It's kind of similar to the Devil Bringer that Nero has. Give me a Nero costume. I would be more than happy to play this entire game as Nero or Virgil. And Dante, but like, you put Dante in everything, Capcom, alright? It's time to give Virgil or Nero some love. That's all I'm going to say.
So
Okay.
disappointing.
Moving on from that, we have another Monster Hunter game. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. So this is I never played Monster Hunter Stories 1. I did want to, but I think it being on 3DS kind of stopped me from playing through it. So I'm instantly in for Stories 2. Like I do want to play Stories. And I wish they would port Stories over to the Switch. I would 100% play it. But I believe these games are kind of similar to like Pokemon. Like I think you kind of like tame the monsters and use them in like turn-based battles and stuff like that. But it looks great. I think the art style looks really nice. It was cool seeing some monsters from World in there. We got like Legiana, Adjanath was in there, so like cool to see like some of the newer monsters get some play. But yeah, like I'm definitely in. This game also coming out soon. This game's coming out in June 2021. So very exciting. Or not June, but it's this summer 2021. I assume June.
It looks pretty cool. I gotta say, I think I said it before when I was talking to you. I'm kind of over video games and a lot of things in general with this like penchant for like any character that's like some. I don't even know how to describe it because I don't know anything about that person and the girl.
Like you are the chosen one.
Yeah.
You need to save us.
All
like,
these fucking like.
Yeah, I feel that.
English like.
I mean, it's an RPG.
Please come save me. Like. Just,
oh, okay, yeah.
Everyone's always this fucking. It's something about the way they talk always. That's like so played out to me, because it's like all of them. But.
Sure, it's like generic, like Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
You're just generic RPG character kind of in medieval setting. Yeah.
Okay.
You are the legendary tamer.
Oh man.
Only you can tame Rathalos. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, listen, I'm fine for some generic RPG trash, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that every once in a while.
I don't even hate it. I'm just tired of it. That's all.
Yeah. So yoink or boink on this one?
Definitely still a yoink though. Definitely still a yoink.
Cool. Luke?
Yeah. I mean, I like the style of game. I like the gameplay that they have going.
I feel like you're more likely to play this game than regular Monster Hunter for some reason.
Exactly. Like it's up my alley. I really like the aesthetic. Like I like the way it looks. So this is a definite yoink. I will probably pick this one up. Like when this comes out, I'll probably go ahead and buy it.
Dude, I'm excited. I want to hear your thoughts on this when this comes out.
Yeah,
100%.
I think I'm gonna enjoy it.
Even just from an aesthetic standpoint, I've always appreciated stories because it's like, look at these cute chibi monsters. Like, imagine if Dodogama was in this game. Like, come on, that's just like too cute.
That'd be pretty good. Yeah, hopefully he's in there.
That.
Hopefully he's in there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so moving on from that, we won't like dwell on some of these other announcements for too long. We'll just kind of quickly run through them. But Ori and the Will of the Wisps was announced and basically shadow dropped. It released that day. Ori and the Blind Forest, obviously previously coming out last year. So it's pretty cool. Those games look pretty. I have not played them, but I've heard, pretty much just great things about them. I think Ori and the Will of the Wisps got great reviews. So cool. Cool to see it on Switch. Cool to see it just kind of like come out. Then we got Fitness Boxing 2. Fitness Boxing 1 was a game that I was almost ready to buy, but didn't. Yeah, it's just kind of cool, like little boxing game. Go through that. Then we got Disgaea 6. This one was definitely a surprise. Disgaea being like just really cool. Like, we talk about RPG trash. This is literally like level up trash.
Yeah.
Like if you just want the dopamine of leveling up, like this is your game because you can level up to like level 9 billion or some shit.
That is number.
Interesting. They changed. Yeah, pretty much. They did change the not really the art style. They didn't. So the previous Disgaea games all used like sprites, and like Disgaea 5 used like hand-drawn sprites, so they're not like pixelated sprites like you would think of. This game has like 3D models, which is new. I think it doesn't look as good as Disgaea 5. Disgaea 5 I think was a very good looking game, and I didn't play a lot of it. I played maybe like 10-15 hours, but it was fun. So probably will skip this game, but I think if you're a fan of the series, this was definitely a surprise. And yeah, it's 2021, summer 2021. This says exclusively to Nintendo Switch, so that's also pretty interesting. And then speaking of trials, Disgaea 5, which is also on Switch, is getting a game trial for Nintendo Switch Online members from September 23rd to September 29th. So there you go. There you go. Try out Disgaea 5.
It's gonna be interesting.
I first played Disgaea 5. I played the demo that dropped on PS4, and like I played that demo for like 3 hours probably, because you can grind and then your progress carries over. So that was cool. And then some other like games, whatever. Not really interested in any of these. Hades was announced and also released that day. Hades being the Supergiant Games, their new game, which has been previously on PC. Not really interested in this game. I think if this game was like similar to Bastion and Transistor, yeah, which were basically just story games where you played it and beat the story. This is like a roguelike game, which I think is cool. I think those games are nice. And I appreciate Supergiant's games. Like, I love their character designs, and their character artists do a really great job. Yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about Hades, so props to them. And I think when they released it, it was like the #1 Switch game that day or whatever, so pretty cool. Pretty cool on that. Empire of Sin, which is a like 1920s kind of Prohibition era strategy game. Looks pretty cool. They got an announcement coming to December. And then that's kind of it. And then afterwards they had like a Monster Hunter kind of direct where they talked about Monster Hunter a little bit more. And yeah. So overall on the Pard direct, would you guys give this a yoink or a boink? Luke, I'll give it to you first.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about what's out there, so I'd give it a yoink.
Cool. AJ?
Some might say, well, Monster Hunter can't carry a whole thing, but it really can.
Yeah, it definitely can. That franchise, especially after World, has blown the fuck up. So.
And that's really just like over here in the West, because Monster Hunter... People don't know about Monster Hunter. That's the thing that keeps Capcom alive, and they don't even know. But that's beside the point. I think that they did pretty well. It was very akin to the Sony conference. It's just, hey, here you like video games, here you go. And with that in mind, like, hey, it's pretty nice. I mean, I wouldn't have expected like any crazy big like hardware announcements by any means, honestly. So I'm not a Smash player either, so I wasn't getting my hopes up for any fucking announcement of characters. I think they did really well.
Yeah. I mean, Dante is 100% coming to Smash, but we can get
you didn't talk about that in your week, did you? How Brett beat your ass for like 40 minutes yesterday.
I didn't, because it's not...
No, that was relevant. That was hilarious.
Oh, I think it's relevant.
No. Listen, I don't ever play Smash, and you guys were playing Smash the other day, and I joined you guys, and our friend Brett, mopped the floor with me. Not only mopped the floor with me, but got a little disrespectful, alright? He was doing some disrespectful Smash tech. He was doing the shit where he grabs you as Donkey Kong and just like jumps off the stage and like loses a life himself, but it doesn't even matter because he did like this. Just BM, dude. It's just disrespectful. It's not nice.
It was amazing. He was in there kicking Uzua and Knob's ass, basically 2v1 in him.
That's incredible.
But listen, when they put Dante or Nero in there, like it's over. Like I'll be on top at that point.
Oh, yep. Gonna become a basement lord. He said it. He's gonna be one of them basement kings. Yeah, I'm top one in my basement.
Yeah. So in other news, we'll just kind of briefly go over this stuff. Michael Ansel, who is a developer who's worked with Ubisoft for a long time. He created the Rayman franchise. He created Beyond Good and Evil. He announced that he's going to retire so he can pursue some like wildlife stuff, working on wildlife sanctuaries and stuff like that. He did say that the two projects that he's been recently working on, Wild and Beyond Good and Evil 2, have been transitioned to the teams that are working on them, and they will continue to work on those games without him. I feel like these games are never coming out. Wild has not been talked about in like 5 years. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is like not a real game. So who knows if we'll actually see these games or not.
I don't even know.
It's kind of weird that he's... Wild was the game where like you could like tame animals, and like there's a part where there's a big like skull underneath, you know, underwater or some shit. It looked cool. It was kind of like a indie-ish kind of game, but yeah, it hasn't been like heard from in a very long time. So who knows? It's kind of weird that he's been like working on these games, and then just these games that have been like have had long-winded developments, and then just, you know, he's leaving before like we even know if these games are coming out anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. And then just recently today, Microsoft announced that they are buying ZeniMax Media. ZeniMax Media being the parent company of Bethesda. This is a pretty big buy. They bought them for $7.5 billion, which for reference, they bought Mojang for $2.5 billion. And yeah, pretty crazy news. They get a lot of IPs with Bethesda. I kind of, and I know that like Microsoft can't just like pour a bunch of money into the developers that they have already. But I do feel like Microsoft does kind of a poor job at managing their first-party studios to begin with. And so their strategy of just like, well, we're just going to buy a bunch of shit. You know, they bought like Double Fine and Ninja Theory and all these other kind of studios. It's kind of like, okay, like you have all these studios now. I hope you like actually spend some time and, you know, give them the tools that they need to make great games. They bought Obsidian obviously recently as well. Yeah, people are speculating if this means that like Fallout and Elder Scrolls will be exclusive to Xbox or not. And I think it'll be kind of a situation where like Elder Scrolls and Fallout are big franchises. Doom is a big franchise. I think these types of games, you know, which will sell tons and tons of copies on PlayStation 5, will continue to release on PlayStation 5. I think your stuff like, you know, The Evil Within 2 or Prey, like these kind of less selling games, where they might be more valuable as an exclusive game, they might kind of pick and choose there. Yeah,
Bethesda has been on record to say that they will still be publishing their games themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
so
that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like okay, we'll wait and see like what they actually do with this.
You know what my main hope from this whole thing is Bethesda is forced by Microsoft to get another engine.
Well, I think they said that they've worked on their engine, which is not. I think they. I don't know what Bethesda needs, because you can use old game engines, right? Like there's not really a problem with using old game engines. Lots of games today still run off of old bootleg game engines.
The problem was that one wasn't that great in the first place.
Well, so from an outsider's perspective, I don't really understand like where they're at with engine development. So what exactly have they been using? Did they use like the same one for Skyrim that they have?
They've been using the creation engine they've been using
Gamebryo.
since the Gamebryo engine since Fallout 3.
Oh, wow,
so like
okay.
Fallout 3, and like they forced Obsidian to use it for New Vegas. Fucking Oblivion. I think even Morrowind was using it, so even before Fallout 3. So they've been using it for a while, which is not that, you know, I think people nowadays are kind of like, because like Guerrilla Games and some other studios have like made brand new engines. for their new games, people are like, oh yeah, it's just a thing that you do. But it's not uncommon to use like decades old. Like Call of Duty still runs on basically the same engine that they've had since the start. So it's not uncommon to use old game engines. I think Bethesda just needs to spend more time on their engine, and I think they might be like Fallout 4 came out a long time ago, and like Fallout 76 obviously came out, but that was kind of a weird experimental thing. But yeah, it's been a long time since Fallout 4, and Starfield is their next game. They said Starfield is coming out before Elder Scrolls 6. And, you know, we know basically nothing about Starfield. Like, I feel like Starfield could be still, like, a 2022 game, which would put Elder Scrolls 6 at, like, 2024 or some shit. Yeah, you know, it's possible that they've been working on it. Maybe under Microsoft they'll get some more resources. I kind of doubt it, based on how Microsoft has treated their first party studios and what they've given them and the way that they've managed them. But we'll see.
I would hope that given the amount of money that they were willing to fork out for them, that they value them a bit more and would be willing to help them with any resources that they might need. And I don't think there's anything...
Yeah.
I think the main problem with Bethesda using that engine is that their games are just janky as fuck whenever they do. Like, if the games themselves came out better, well, then it would be like, use whatever engine you want, you know? But that game on just a functional level, a lot of the times, it's like its biggest problem. And some of that comes from just the type of game that it is, you know, big open world games. And I get that. But at the same time, it's like...
Yeah.
If changing engine would make it easier to develop these games on, I think you should do it. I think you should do it and make your own life easier. And also just make your games better. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's the way I kind of feel about this announcement. Is just like, okay, we'll see. We'll see what this turns into. So yeah, that's kind of that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a podcast. This was a big one. There was lots of video games that happened. This was definitely a long-winded little podcast. But thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate having you here as my new co-hosts. You guys are both streamers. And so we'll do a little shill section here where you guys tell the audience, which is myself and you guys, basically.
Shout out to Michael and me.
Shout out to me,
Hibari, the three listeners to this podcast.
Hey, shout
out. So go ahead and just tell us, like, you know, where we can find you on the interwebs, on Twitter, on Twitch, and kind of what you play and what your upcoming streams are going to look like. I'll give it to AJ to start.
Thanks. You can find me at onlyfans.com/Shibari-sama. And I post content on there very infrequently because they haven't approved my ID. But yeah, no, well, that's real. But you can find me on.
You got to get a clear dick pic. All right, we can't tell it to you because it's a little.
There will be
too
no
blurry.
dick pics yet. Could you know what?
That's what OnlyFans is for, right? Dick pics.
That's not the only thing it's for.
Okay.
That's what a lot of people use it for.
But
we'll
come on, that's what it's for, right?
That's the pure simping in its realist form. But you can find me at twitch.tv/Hibari-sama_. And I've been streaming all types of games. Recently I've been playing a lot more Monster Hunter GU since I got a capture card and Switch due to the generosity of those of whom treat me too good. You know?
Yeah, I'm glad you have a Switch now.
I'm about to switch up on y'all.
Same.
But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun playing it and playing Dark Souls remastered with Uzu17 and Sword Guy, actually, and that's been a lot of fun. That's been a ton of fun. Come join the Discord. We be in here fucking watching anime. It's great. Watching Saw marathons.
Yeah. I was surprised when you told me that you hadn't played Dark Souls before. It was surprising.
Oh, Demon Souls?
No, Dark Souls.
Wait, what? Oh, one? Oh, yeah.
Dark Souls 1. Yeah, excuse me. Dark Souls 1.
Yeah, no, you know what? I don't know what it was. It was one of those things where it just kind of... I think I was like, I can't download this on the PlayStation Store and PS3 for some reason, so I was kind of like fucking at a moment. I don't know why. When I could have just Amazon and bought it physical. But yeah, no. It was super weird actually. I know, super weird, considering like how much I've played the other ones. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you get a lot of.
Well, I'm glad you've been in there. I'm glad you're getting to enjoy that. And Luke, where can people find you?
Oh yeah, you can check out my Instagram, which I'm an old man, but I'm learning how to use this thing. I believe it's called social media. So you
actually have an Instagram now?
I do have an Instagram, and you can
What
find
kind of things do you post on your Instagram?
Mostly me. If you check out my Instagram stories, it's mostly me singing badly to Pokemon themes, etc. And pulls that I get from my massive Pokemon card addiction that I've started over the past few months. But yeah, you can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at BLUECHROMED, Blue Chromed. I stream not often, about 1 to 2 times a week. I play a lot of Pokemon. I'm a huge Pokemon geek and fan. But there's some other games that are near and dear to my heart, like Crash Bandicoot, that we have coming up here in just a couple weeks now.
Yeah, it's really soon.
Yeah, really any Nintendo stuff as well. So we've been playing some Mario, looking forward to that, and I also like to get down with the community games. So we like to play stuff like Mario Kart, and I recently picked up Among Us, Fall Guys, stuff like that.
Cool. I'm gonna have to check out your Instagram account because that's news to me.
I mean, okay, but please don't leave any adversarial comments, okay?
Okay, I will not. Okay, so if you would like to send any questions in, or any topics of discussion into the podcast, where can they send those questions to? Where can they send those to? What email can they send those to?
This is a test question. This is man, I gotta rack my brain.
Yeah, what email account? I wonder.
MichaelFlanagan@gmail.com.
Nope.
SuperHypeGaming at gmail.com.
Hey, what was that email account?
SuperHypeGaming at gmail.com. Send your hate mail, and Michael and perhaps one of us will read it live on air.
Oh, One more time. What was that? What was that account?
What was it, AJ?
What was it called?
SuperHypeGaming at gmail.com. Send all your dick pics and Crash Bandicoot hentai his way. He loves it.
Please send me hate mail. I'm not even kidding. If you're listening to this and you want to send me hate mail, I'm not even joking. Send it to me. I love reading hate mail. It actually makes me happy. Okay, so as far as SAT prep goes, I think your use of adversarial was incredibly forced. I think you tried to sneak it in there at the last minute, and so unfortunately you will fail. You are disqualified. Which means that neither of you will get points, which means that Luke, since you were the one that attempted to use it, you are going to be the one who closes the podcast by reading a random video game quote. I'm going to go to randomvgquotes.com, randomvideogamequotes.com, and I will generate our quote. Yes, I'm clicking generate right now.
Oh my gosh.
Here's our quote. This is from a random video game. I'm going to post this. Thank you guys for joining me today on episode 15 of the podcast. Luke, if you will, take us home.
All right. That day, if our positions were switched, would our fates be different? Would I have your life and you mine?
That day, if our positions were switched, would our fates be different? Would I have your life and you mine?